Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast presents episode 524, New Armaments, recorded live on January 21st, 2016. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I'm your host, Duststorm.
And I'm your other host, Biowolf.
And I'm your third host, Haas.
And you got Godzilla T here.
Hey, everyone's in the house tonight. How about that? Got the full game back.
Party!
Oh yeah. Party in the house. And I'm doing this right before we get a blizzard, too. Yay.
Yeah, we got that this morning.
Is it an Oreo blizzard, or are you a Reese's Pieces kind of guy?
No, this is a wintry white
Skittles.
washout blizzard.
We don't have those in Washington anymore.
Why, is it too warm?
Apparently, we just like rain.
Okay. Why, you elitist against snow or something?
I love snow. I just never get to enjoy it.
I love snow as long as I don't have to shovel it or drive in it.
I want to, see snow again. I haven't seen snow in, 10 years. I really miss it.
You take a 12-hour trip north for this weekend, and you can see plenty of snow.
Yeah.
It's half a
They're
day.
calling, 12 to 14 inches in your area?
They're expecting possibly historic records, so maybe
Oh my God.
close to 3 feet.
Ooh, I feel bad for my aunt. She,
I know on the news this morning they were talking about Washington D.C. getting
What's
anywhere
Washington?
from...
That's what my grandparents used to
Washington.
say it, because they're
Anyway.
from Oklahoma.
Hey, don't knock on Oklahomans.
Washington.
Twisted. Oh,
Arizona
But they were
gets
talking-
snow.
12 to 14 inches.
Maybe not all of Arizona, but certain parts of Arizona get snow. Mr. Tasman.
Okay.
El Paso got snow.
Yeah, El Paso can get snow. Houston getting snow, on the other hand, that's rare, but it
Yeah.
has happened.
Yeah, if you want to see something funny, wait until Houston gets a snowstorm and watch traffic video.
Oh my-
Actually, Maryland's worse.
Is it really?
Yes. And you would think they would be used to snow being in a place that normally gets snow every winter, but no, people here drive insane when there's any kind of inclement weather. It could be rain, could be snow, could be just fog. I mean, anything that's inclement weather, people just go crazy.
Tuesday we had
don't get
a
it.
small snowstorm, snowstorm come through, pretty much just enough to make everything white.
Mm-hmm.
And the state of Kansas recorded in the Kansas City metro area 300 accidents.
Holy crap.
That's
Yesterday-
in one day.
Yesterday, after it snowed, which this was 7:30, they recorded 800 accidents in the DMV.
Boom.
Well, you got to understand this is a dusting of snow.
Oh, this was the same thing yesterday. It was like a dusting to an inch. So, I mean, I get it. People are just... Anyways, we're here to talk about Halo, not necessarily snow. We have quite a bit to talk about tonight. We have an update, which is seemingly coming next week, as we got the Infinity's Armory trailer, and they're doing the live stream tomorrow, as of this recording. So that kind of alludes to that we're getting the update next week. They still haven't set a firm date yet, which is a little strange, but because of the live stream happening tomorrow, and because of the trailer and the live stream video that they put out today, I think we're definitely getting it next week. Kind of squeezing it in there at the end of the month. But we do know pretty much the full contents of the update now. We were given that information in an update yesterday. So just kind of going over that a little bit. They released, I think they showed off all of the REQs, and they also showed off revealed the 2 maps. So the first one is Riptide, which is the reimagining of Fathom, which we kind of guessed about last week. And then there is a new Warzone Assault map called Urban, which is basically the Warzone Assault version of the Battle of Noctis. So 2 reimagining maps coming with this month's update. So what do you guys think of Riptide? I mean, it looks pretty cool. I know, Bio, you and I talked about it a little bit last week, but we didn't really get a chance to hear from GT or Mr. Haas. So what do you guys think of Riptide?
I really need to see more of it, personally. It from the looks of it, looks cool, and Fathom is one of my favorite maps. I don't have a ton of faith in a lot of these remixes. Overgrowth was kind of a letdown for me. So I think tomorrow when they do like a full-on run-through, I'll have a better feeling of how I may or may not feel about this map.
Mm-hmm.
So looks cool, but I need to see more of it before I really have an opinion, I guess.
Yeah, I'm kind of of the same mind. But I have to say one thing. I'm really getting tired of remixes. Give me new stuff.
Yeah, it would be nice to see some individual maps come out and not remixes.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they did the Warzone Assault, because you do have to kind of change things around for the Warzone game type to work with the Assault variant.
Mm-hmm.
But, for multiplayer maps, just, your regular multiplayer maps, give me some new stuff.
So do you guys not feel like the remixes are different enough?
No, and that's something that I said beforehand, which everyone kind of rejected my idea of it. But like, I feel that they're the same map with just a little bit of tweaks. There's no
Really?
to me, there's no, apart from Empire, not Empire, Truth and Regret. Eden and Empire and all that, like they seem like the same exact map to me. Apart from the structural changes, it feels and plays the exact same way.
Man, I feel different. I feel like they are totally different maps.
Yeah, me too. Eden, those two maps, they don't play the same. Now, Truth and Regret, they play the same.
Yeah.
I disagree with that even.
They play the same.
How so? I guess would
just
be my
in
question.
the movement, the way you move around the map, and I would say the only thing that really changes is the only thing that I noticed different is you push a little different part of the map because of the fuel rod cannon.
I think there's not a lot of emphasis on the bases on Regret.
There's no emphasis on those bases.
Yeah. And there's a lot more of the play that you get is bottom mid for that power weapon spawn, and then you have what would be
there is no power weapon in bottom mid.
Yeah, there's the overshield on Regret.
Or whatever they changed it to. But yeah.
Yeah, there's the overshield, but you've got your
top car, which is where a lot of people kind of run up to, and then you have top pink, which it's that whole top bridge is where a lot of the action happens compared to Truth, which is a lot more of the mid. It plays a lot more like midship than Regret does.
Truth is way more open, in my opinion, and you have a lot longer avenues of shooting. And top mid on Regret, you can control top mid and control the map. Where on Truth, you can't really do that. You can be up on top mid, but there's so many different angles to shoot you at. You can't really dictate map flow from up there.
Well, to me, they feel that they play similar. I mean, there are some different push points just because of what's on the map, but to me, I play them both with the same style, I guess is probably the way it works for me. Where with Eden and what's the other map? Empire. Yeah. Eden and Empire. I play those two maps totally different from each other.
Yep.
So for me, the remix maps do play significantly different enough that I would consider them different maps. But I do kind of, and we're going to actually talk about this as kind of our main talking point for this episode, but I do think that the reuse of a lot of environments is kind of a cop-out compared to other DLC that we've got for Halo in the past. And I know we've gotten remakes from past games, but you're still in there remaking maps from an older game and bringing them in instead of taking the same maps that you have in the game and just remixing it. But we'll get to that when we get into major discussion.
I mean, personally, the only map that and this is not exactly a tangent, but personally in Halo 5, I don't think we've hit that one map that everyone can agree on is probably one of the best that 343's made so far.
Ooh, I disagree.
Well, not to me, because everyone that I know...
man.
Coliseum is one of those maps where I feel that's the map that I go to. I like when I think of Halo 5, that's kind of the map that I go to as of right now. But like we still don't in my like
Coliseum is the haven of Halo 5. Kind of.
Yeah, it doesn't fall in the top 10 maps of Halo, but it's the best map in the game.
Well, it's because it's very well balanced. That's why. I mean, like,
and
but
that's what I'm... It doesn't have a remix.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yet. I don't know. I really think that 343 needs to put a little bit more initiative to push out more maps that have a little bit more grip to them, if that makes any sense. Like,
you guys
a little.
Really think that's going to happen though? I don't.
No. I don't think it happens, but it's something that I really hope it does. But like I said, we'll get to that later on.
Well, I mean, there's another point to that too, which I don't know kind of the validity of it, because granted, I'm not a map designer, but I don't know how much the competitive team has influence into it, because I wonder if that somehow really pulls back from the creative ideas that someone could be putting into a map. Because when Bungie made the maps, they weren't necessarily making them specifically for competitive. I mean, outside the realm of Halo is a competitive game in and of itself, but they didn't have like a pro team in there saying, "Oh, you need this kind of aesthetic or aspect here in order to get here and whatnot." There's an art to making maps where, as a competitive player, you don't necessarily have that artistic mindset. So having that influence on an artistic process might actually hinder a map design versus actually adding something to it. But that's for another discussion, I think. So yeah, we have Riptide, and then we also have Urban, which is the Battle of Noctis Warzone Assault variant. So it'll be interesting to see how that one is played. We also have the Halo 2 Battle Rifle Legendary Weapon, which I personally don't care for too much. I honestly did not like the Halo 2 Battle Rifle.
Oh, I'm super excited for it. Like, don't get me wrong. This update is not something I'm super excited for. But if I had to pick one thing that I was going to say, hey, that's awesome, I'm glad that's coming, it's that. Because the BR, to me, has not felt right. And maybe that's because of the hours upon days upon days that I invested into Halo 2. So that's the BR in my mind. So I'm excited to see it. I hope it's
But this is basically just a skin. It's not going to change really the feel of the battle rifle. It's just a skin.
It's a faster rate of fire than the normal BR.
So that probably means
a couple
weaker
other
shots.
Things.
Well, I guess it might be the same rate or same damage if it's faster. If it's a legendary weapon, I guess.
It will be interesting to see what it actually is capable of, because
I mean the BR in Halo 5 feels fine to me. I like it better than the Halo 4
It feels good. I mean, if you're gonna add weapons, I'm cool with some classics coming back. I'm interested to see how the legendary pistol performs, and I hope that one is going to be added to the forged weapon list. But who knows?
I would think that all of these should be added to the forged weapon list. I'd be surprised.
I personally feel like every rec weapon should. But
it should be, yeah.
You know, if they want to make it exclusive to one place, whatever.
Well, that's where they're designing this stuff for. They're designing it for Warzone. They're not designing it for custom games.
I know,
now,
but
as far as custom games
cool
on that side,
see these in matchmaking.
Yeah. As far as custom games, the legendary weapons, yes. All the weapons,
okay, no. I can agree with that.
Because that's where we're getting the classic Halo game or Halo weapons. Like the Norfang, the Spanker rocket launcher. We're getting those in the legendary cards. So it would be great if they were all there, but I just don't see that happening.
No.
But at least the legendaries.
Well, we got the Spanker and Forge as of right now.
Yeah,
as of right now, yes.
Just the basic Spanker, though. That's not the legendary version of it.
Well, yeah, but they could still implement a basic version of whatever weapon you want to put in there. Just to
totally
have.
Agree. I just don't see them doing it. I feel like Warzone is this cash cow baby, so if you are able to have access to these awesome, cool, legendary weapons, and you either are paying for it or grinding their game for it, they're not going to just dump it into matchmaking for you.
No. Like I said, with all the weapons that they've developed...
Well, not necessarily matchmaking, but customs would be fine.
Well, yeah. Anywhere. At ease of, pull the trigger and there it is.
Yeah.
So, I personally don't care too much about it, but it sounds like a lot of people on Twitter are excited for the Halo 2 battle rifle. But that is coming, if you are excited for that. We have new carbine REQs as well. There is one of them, I believe, that shoots needle rounds as well. It's called the Blood of Suban. I think that's how you say that.
Couldn't they just make the needle rifle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, come on.
It kind of looked like a carbine in Halo Reach anyways, other than it had the needles on top. It kind of did. I mean, it was a mix between the needler and the carbine. Let's be honest.
I don't really know. I don't feel that way. I think it felt a little bit different than what the carbine would look like. I think it was a little bit different, in my opinion.
I am definitely interested in getting my hands on it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Me too.
I can't wait to get it.
I wonder how many shards
the weapons that they're releasing.
I wonder if it's going to be like 7 for similar to the carbine, or if it's going to be a little bit more.
Well, there'll probably be different levels of it. So,
well, it's in the carbine
Reach
class.
No bloom needle rifle. That thing wrecked.
Yeah, it did.
I actually liked the needle rifle in Reach.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite weapon in Halo Reach.
Grenade launcher.
That was a bittersweet gun. It was fun, but I've killed myself way too many times with that gun to like. It's like I got one of the clips on my file browser on the 360s where I literally bounced around the entire map, killed one person as he was about to assassinate me, killed me too. I'm like, it was kind of a messed up moment.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah.
I always liked laying traps with it.
Yeah. I like my blueberry launcher, be honest.
That was fun too.
Yeah, that was an interesting weapon.
A lot of people compare the plasma caster to it. Plasma caster feels very different.
Pretty different, yeah. Plasma caster.
Although I have to admit, I do kind of miss hearing in the team chat, where are the blueberries?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Who's got the blueberries?
Yep. So for some other weapon REQs, I don't think we have anything new. It's just weapon skins. We have the Prestige weapon skin set. So that is a yellow and teal, kind of greenish blue color. We have, and I don't know why they put these in. I really don't. The Last Slice and the Lord of the Fries.
Hipsters, dog, hipsters.
I just...
well, everybody needs a pizza skin on their AR.
No.
Because some people love heat
technique.
All you people just standing here loving Halo, and I'm just here with my pizza.
There's so many more creative things they could have done with a skin other than pizza and French fries. Like, come on. Give me, I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. That's just, I don't find any attraction to that at all. I really don't. I wouldn't spend money just to try to get that weapon skin. There's no way.
I mean, because
that's just it. You won't spend money for it and get it.
Yeah, that's my
But they could be making better skins than these that are actually meaningful. Not something that you could whip up in 3ds Max in 5 minutes. Just take a picture and hey, just apply it to these areas. I mean, that's pretty much all they had to do. Those 2 skins alone probably could have taken 5 to 10 minutes.
Yep.
It's what? This doesn't make any sense. Why couldn't you have taken the time to make some better skins? And I mean, I personally, having the Mr. Chief ones, the AR and the lock and loaded, those are kind of cool. At least they're relevant to Halo.
At least they're Halo related.
It's Mr. Chief
or community related.
Yeah, but pizza and fries, that's just, it's...
I feel like these skins should be Halo universe related and community related. You know, they're
Podtacular skin confirmed.
And you like there's a lot you would not in a military scenario, like in any kind of armed forces, you would not see someone walking around with an AR that has a pizza skin on it.
We didn't have a skin on it at all.
With any skin on it.
I mean,
some people decorate
unless you count camo as a skin.
I mean, yeah, camo is I mean, it's like a different paint job than probably the standard issue. So,
no, I don't know. I don't find any use of it. No, it's whatever. I mean, people are gonna want it. People are gonna like, especially little kids that play the game that like, oh, pizza, let's go for the pizza. Like it opens up to other people. It's more attractive to other people. We don't personally care for it. To other people,
there are so many other creative things they could have done.
Oh, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all. There's a lot more stuff that I've seen community creations that wiped out anything even remotely. Like if they could sit there and like got copyrighted stuff off of people and gave them permission to take their creative ideas from the community and put it on a skin, that'd be amazing. Like, have you seen some of the skin ideas that people have had? Like,
take the Steam Workshop for example. What they do for Team Fortress.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do the same thing for Halo.
I don't think they would though, because people can go and they can do a lot of lawsuit stuff, and Microsoft isn't all about that. I can tell you that much. But
hold on, time out. Before you say that, there's a game franchise exclusive to the Xbox called Forza, and people can create whatever they want on their cars.
Well, right, but if, say, for instance, someone sit there and made something that they felt that they could use, and someone like the 343 takes it or something like that, there would be. I'm not, especially
You're making it within their game.
Well, right, but people
You're
like
using
to sit
their
there and blow
tools
things up.
That gets passed. Like you create that's like a forger suing 343 because they're using their map and matchmaking without their permission.
You could. I mean. To take the Team Fortress example, you could easily have a system in place where you can have creators come up with these things, and if they use it in game and if they earn rec off it, then they get commission.
Yeah.
I mean, Team Fortress does that, and Valve makes money off of that, and then people make money off of that too. It's a win-win situation because really 343 is getting additional resources that they're not necessarily having to pay for to put stuff in the game.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a brilliant idea. I really wish some of the things that people made would actually go into that, because after seeing this pizza idea, it's just, I'm like, yeah. Let's move on to the next update and see what else we got. If I see another one, I may freak. If I see like a taco one or something, I'm just done.
Yeah,
I mean, that's next.
These are honestly...
The hero skin.
Oh gosh. The hero. Just no more food. 343. This is utterly stupid. And
rated T for teens.
In February's update, we'll have the McDonald's skin. Oh
gosh.
Included with every Happy Meal.
Exactly. Buy a Happy Meal and get a free rec pack.
That'd be interesting if you got a rec pack from McDonald's. Anyways, moving on, there's a couple other skins. There's the Old Abe and the Full Moon. The Old Abe is an eagle on an assault rifle, and I can't exactly tell what the Full Moon is. Kind of looks like an
That's
owl.
A wolf one?
Is that a wolf?
It's a wolf. It's a wolf howling at the moon. As we hear dogs.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah.
No,
it's a Biowolf.
It's my roommate's
No,
dog.
that's the skin I'm after right now.
Yep. Second I saw it.
Biowolf's after the wolf skin.
To you.
Nah. Yeah.
I was like, this is Biowolf's.
Well, the thing that's
there
funny
are many
is
others like it, but this one is Bios.
Well, the thing that was funny was, I made a tweet about wishing that there was some sort of like wolf skin out there to pop up on it, and like literally that, like the next week we seen that.
Oh,
it was
I see
pure
the wolf
coincidental.
Now. Okay, I see it now. The mouth was in the moon, so it was hard for me to see where the eyes and the mouth was, and also the screw in the side. But I see it now.
Yeah. But Tim, I seen that and freaked and tweeted about it, and Tim responded. He goes, "Yeah, that's coming." So I was extremely happy about it.
Nice. So there is that one. There's those two. There's also Boomco AR Blaster and Boomco Magnum Blaster. So these are basically in-game versions of the toy blasters that you get. And
now that'd actually be kind of neat.
Yeah, and the AR actually isn't one that's out yet, but apparently is something that's being made in production right now. I have the green one. I have the green blaster. But the AR is something that's not out there currently, but they are making, apparently. So that's cool.
See, that's an idea that's an idea that I can back up. Like that, that's pretty cool to see. Not pizza. That's unique.
That's at least relevant to Halo because you actually have those in real life as Halo things, so that makes sense. But everything else just doesn't. And
I mean,
the last weapon skin that we have is the scratched AR and scratched Magnum, which is just a hodgepodge of colors.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy, to be honest.
A little bit. I'm sure if you were on some certain chemicals that you'd be like, "Whoa, dude, this looks awesome."
Yeah.
Well, I take that back. You'd probably be doing that same thing for the pizza and the fries too.
Pretty much. It'd probably make you hungry.
What nobody knows is Bio's real name is Moonbeam.
Moonbeam?
Moonbeam City.
What?
I'm confused.
Don't worry
so
about
am
it.
So am I.
Psychedelic, man.
No way, dude. No way. So we have those weapon skins. We also have some armor sets. We have the Atlas armor set and some Atlas variants as well. Atlas Unbound, Atlas Vigilant. Sorry, it took me a while to figure out how to say that word. And then we have the Infiltrator, Saboteur. We have, actually, it looks like we have two of them. No, or did they just paste them back to back? I think they just pasted them back to back. I think they had a problem in their update. That's funny. We also have Enforcer Strong Arm, Stalker Arrow, the Mark V Alpha, which is the legendary of the set, legendary classic, and then the Gungnir Valiant, that's also a legendary. We also have some new stances, which is Patrol, which looks kind of weird. I don't know why you would hold a weapon like that or even have a stance like that. You guys seen the Patrol stance?
Yeah. That one's kind of... Yeah, it's not anything great.
Yeah. And then Center Mass is the other stance, which looks pretty typical. It's not a bad stance to have. And then we have another set of emblems. We have 12 new emblems. Atrial Flight, which is Little Heart with Wings. A Boomco emblem. BR-55 emblem. Brute emblem, which I think some people are kind of excited for. Cross Swords, which I think more people are excited for that one. Chamamile, however you say that one. Kind of looks like a tea bag. A Halo tea bag. So, yeah, haha. I'm sure some people will be getting that one. Forge Monitor, which I'm assuming a lot of the forgers will probably use eventually. The number 12, which...
Seahawks.
Did we not get in the number 11?
Nope. That's why I'm thinking it's for the Seahawks.
Okay. We have Snake Emblem, Keeper of the Domain, which is kind of just one half of the Guardian's face. We have a Kigyar and an Ungoi emblem, which actually look pretty cool. And then one new visor, the Hypnocenter, which is purple and gold, and a little bit of pink.
Yay.
Yep. And then to wrap up all the Recs, we have two new assassinations, Wind Up and Stop Stabbing Yourself. Stop stabbing yourself, stop stabbing yourself, stop stabbing yourself, stop stabbing yourself.
Quit it!
Yeah, the Wind Up one is really brutal. Like, I'm
There's
just
quite
watching
a few of these that are brutal.
Yeah, like, well, that one, you literally see your head just completely twist around.
Yeah,
like
your neck... wish there was blood.
Yeah. Well, it's all contained in the suit, so there would be no blood.
Except for the where the knife punctures a hole in the suit, but, you know.
Well, the wind up one, there isn't a knife, it doesn't look like. The stop stabbing yourself, yeah, there would be.
Stop stabbing yourself one's kind of funny. You just, like, literally toss him over the side. That'd be an awesome assassination clip. Literally throwing him off the map or something.
Yeah.
It'd be funny.
Yep. So that's all the recs that we're getting. That's pretty much everything that we're getting in this update. No game types, no completely new maps either. So, new recs, 2 new maps, and yeah, that's pretty much it for Infinity's Armory. So again, the live stream is tomorrow, or if you're listening to this afterwards, it is on January 22nd at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So, if you're not listening to this live, this will be after the stream anyways. So the stream would have been over by now if you're listening to this after we recorded it on Thursday. Moving up into a couple other things before we move on into our main talking points. The final 8 teams, well, I guess not final, but the 8 teams that are going to the X Games in Aspen, Colorado have been officially announced. So we're getting Epsilon Esports, which actually just took the final UK qualifier land this last week. So congratulations to them for winning the UK spot. So they're coming with Penta Sports, which is from Germany. And then we have Team Allegiance, CLG, Evil Geniuses, Leftovers, Dream Team, and Team Liquid from the US participating. And
go Team Allegiance.
I'm still doing EG because of Towie and his roots to Podtacular.
Fair enough. I just want to see Nated win.
Fair enough. He's a good player.
Yep.
So there you go. And then out of the whole event, it's going to be something that is not going to have any influence over the final standings of the HCS. So no additional points, no standing effect. There is a $30,000 prize pool for all the winners, which basically boils down to, I think, first place will get something like $12,000 to split between the 5 team members, the 4 players and the captain, and then it kind of staggers down below that. But I'm guessing that everyone that is participating is getting flown out, which is kind of cool. And all the action will be streamed on the normal places where you can find them. So MLG, Halo's Twitch channel, the Halo channel probably will have it, and then watch ESPN online. And then during the broadcast on the televised network for ESPN, there will be highlights from the Invitational on TV. So Halo's going to be on TV, which is pretty cool. We haven't seen that
since USA.
Well, since MLG back in 2004, 2005.
It was the Halo 2 days when they were on USA Saturday mornings.
Yeah, so I think that was back in 5,
long
6?
Time ago.
Yeah,
it was like 06, 07, I think, if I recall.
Something like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Halo back on the televised media. Should be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the area of Aspen and want to go check them out, then definitely do so. We'll be watching next weekend. I'm going to try to be watching next weekend at least to see how we do. So that's exciting. And that's pretty much the news that we have. We're still kind of a little quiet. We do have the update coming, which should be pretty substantial, but didn't quite fit our build for anything too crazy. But we do have a few things to kind of catch up on. So we got campaign mission to go through and another multiplayer map to dive into. And then we have our topic to discuss. So let's go ahead and jump into campaign. We are on mission number 7, which is Reunion. This is our second mission to play as Blue Team. And we start off by getting on the planet Genesis. This is the new Forerunner planet that all the Guardians have been summoned by some unknown force. This has been happening for a while. If you guys remember the Hunt the Truth, we have known about these Guardians for a while, and we had one just get called by Cortana, or is suspicious to be called by Cortana, as we learned in the last mission, and where Chief was responding to it, and all of Blue Team is now on Genesis, and they came in with the Guardian. So we're on this Forerunner world. It's a whole new thing. We have Blue Team trying to reach out to Cortana to try to get an idea of what's going on. And at the very start, we are greeted by this kind of holo panel. And the funny thing is that it's using a call sign that Blue Team used a long time ago. And if you've read any of the original trilogy of books, you may have remembered the Ali Oxenfree call sign. And that's the same tone that is used to lure Chief and Blue Team to these terminals. So obviously there's some kind of Cortana connection to these things. So Chief goes up, well, I guess if you're playing single player, Chief goes up to the console, activates it, and there's this big Forerunner structure off in the distance that it looks like it's activating or something based on them interacting with this. So they do something, Blue Team's trying to contact Cortana, still nothing, but they're just focusing on pushing through and trying to get to Cortana to try to figure out where she is. So after you activate the first panel, you're walking along kind of this big expansive canyon. You get to take in lots of pretty views. You get to see more Guardians come in and get to see this really interesting flora, fauna, just what's the word I'm looking for? Not the biology. Someone help me out here. My mind is going numb.
You done lost me.
I feel the same way.
The biosystem. I don't know. There's a word.
The biodome.
No, that's not the word I'm looking for. But basically, all the biology in the area, all the plants and trees and whatnot, have this really
vegetation.
Weird... There you go. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. So all the vegetation has this really weird, complex, but kind of strangely organic yet digital composition.
There's like metal in it.
It reminds me, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Galaxy Quest, the movie. I think it was made late 90s, early 2000s.
I've seen it.
They went on into a planet or something, and that's what it reminded me of the first time I played through that mission.
It's been a long time since I've seen Galaxy Quest, so I would have to watch it again to know what you're talking about.
Just cool.
Yeah, I'm having trouble placing that one.
Alien, but just really poppy colors and just looks awesome. To me, this was my favorite mission in a, I don't know, aesthetic sense.
Well, it was very different. This is probably the most distinct artistic form that we've seen in Halo in a while.
Mm. Yeah. Well, what really got me going was the fact that was the same exact scene that they showed concept art for. Back, I forgot, it was last year.
Where they're walking through the canyon?
Yeah, when they're walking through the canyon, I seen that, and as soon as I seen that, I'm a huge concept art person, so seeing it come from an art standpoint actually in game is really, really, really cool. So I seen that, I had to tweet that out. I seen that, I was like, this is really cool. But no, the art direction in this was absolutely stunning. I love the Guardians in the background. You have all this really bizarre plant life. Forerunner planets are very unique. That's something that we've learned, even when we're on Requiem. Everything is very unique there, which is, it's a nice change.
This is really the first time I feel that we have this vegetation that is uniquely Forerunner, because a lot of the other stuff that we've had, and even reading in the books, it's always been, it adapts to whatever species is there and whatever it needs. So if you remember reading any of the Halo books, whatever kind of Forerunner shield world or installation that some alien species ends up in, it always kind of changes to whatever that species needs. So this is the first time that we've really seen, I think, a truly Forerunner environment.
Well, there's nothing there. There's nothing living there at all. I mean, apart from probably bugs or whatever you want to call it. There's nothing really there. I mean, apart from the Covenant coming in, but they were not living there. They're just literally going there because of, the reason of them being there is fighting them and all that stuff. But, well, maybe.
Right, but in terms of Forerunner plant life, this is the first time we actually see probably genuine Forerunner plant life.
Yeah.
Or at least Forerunner engineered plant life, because all the other Forerunner stuff that we've seen has always been architecture, or it's been manufactured. It's very like militaristic building structure. It hasn't been any kind of vegetation or plant life whatsoever. So to see that, it's a refreshing thing for Halo.
Yeah.
And REQ is also adding in their animals were implemented there as well. So it's basically Forerunner engineered plant and animal life, and not something that's adjusting like for the shield worlds and stuff. Not something that's adjusting to the needs of whatever is there. It's strictly made for Forerunners, basically.
Yeah,
which is cool. Yeah. I think it's cool. Anyways,
no, I think it's awesome. I wish there was more stuff I can learn about it. To be honest, like I'm one of those type of people that want to learn more about the plant life and vegetation and animal life there.
Just need to ask Grim to do an article on it.
You gave me an idea.
Or write a Reddit post. Because 343 is all over Reddit.
Yeah.
So as you're going through this chasm, since we kind of deviated a little bit, the first time that you're going to be able to go to your left, kind of in an off cave, that's where you're actually going to be able to find your first piece of intel. And that's going to be up on a ledge before you encounter any enemies. And it'll actually be the first time you get to see off to the left. You get a better view of the weird kind of structure that you're activating in the background as well. So you can find
right, you have to Spartan charge through a wall there too.
No, not for this one.
Maybe it was one of the other ones I was thinking of.
I don't think there's any of them that you have to specifically Spartan charge for. Not on this map, I don't think. I could be wrong. Well, I mean, as we go through it, I'll remember it based off of what I did for the guides and reading the Prima guide as we go along. But that's going to be your first piece of intel. And then as you go off, from the first piece of intel, if you go off to the very right, if you hug the right wall, you'll find your second piece of intel that's kind of overlooking the first group of enemies. So there's actually a downed Phantom with, I think, 2 or 3 grunts and an elite. So before you hop over, you'll find the second piece of intel there. And then if you keep on going right, you'll actually find your first skull on this one as well. And it's the Grunt Birthday Party skull. And I really like how they did this skull. Because you see a grunt sitting on the ledge, just holding a skull up, going da-da-dee-da-da, ya-da-da-da.
Just playing with it.
Yeah. And then after he does that once, you're given the option to punt him. So it's extra punt, and then you literally just kick him, and he goes falling down, and then a second later, the skull just kind of pops there in front of you, and then you can pick up the skull. So that was kind of
the first time I saw that grunt, I was waiting for him to start quoting Shakespeare.
That would have been interesting. If they did ya-da-dee-da-da, Biowolf can probably do it better.
Yeah, I can. My voice is shot, though.
Oh, come on.
Right now. I don't... later.
Oh, all right, fine. Wimp. Anywho, so that's all those 2 pieces of intel and the skull you get before you encounter any enemies, or before you have to encounter any enemies. So once you get all that, if that's what you're doing or you're interested in, then you go ahead and hop down, eliminate those guys. You can actually throw a grenade down there or shoot one of the energy coils that's down there, and it'll blow up at least all the grunts, and then it'll take the shields out of the elite, and then you can just clean up the elite. That's actually probably the easiest way to do it. And then there's another grunt kind of coming down. You clean him up. And before you enter the next section, there's actually a legendary weapon that you can go find. So as you are walking away from the downed Phantom, you'll see an archway. It's going to be before that, you want to head over to your right. And then after you hop up 1 or 2 rocks, there's actually a little alcove that you're going to find another piece of intel in. So you'll find an orange plant kind of in the side of a wall. You'll look up, you'll see a little hole. You can jump up there. That's your third piece of intel. And then in that cave as well, there's also a rocket launcher and a railgun. And then if you head out that cave and keep on the right wall instead of going down the main path on the bottom, you will find the Needler, the Talon of the Lost. And that is a legendary weapon that you can pick up. And this is, I forget what this one specially does. I think it shoots 2 needles per shot, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it shoots 2 needles per shot for the campaign, if I remember right. It's been a while since I've done it. But that's up there kind of in a little crevice if you go all the way up there. And then there's also a couple of fuel rods up there as well. So you can pick up plenty of heavy weapons to clear out this area and then subsequent areas. If you're running on co-op campaign, this is the perfect time for your whole team to get power weapons, because you can get a rocket launcher, a railgun, a fuel rod, and a beam rifle. And then you can get the Talon of the Lost as well. So you can pack some major heat for these next few areas.
This is also the area right shortly after you pick up the rocket launcher and the railgun. If you hold tight to that cliff and climb up just a little bit, you can go through a hole in the cliff to your right, and you can flank the next set of enemies. Also, that is where you can pick up the achievement No Witnesses if you can destroy the Phantom before it gets out of range.
Yeah. And you can actually, if you happen to miss the Phantom here while you're picking up power weapons or something, there is a Phantom in the next area too that you can try to get as well. It's harder to get, but it is possible, I think. But yeah, so as GT said, make sure you're looking out for the Phantom here as you're picking up power weapons. If everyone has the railgun and the rocket launchers and the fuel rods, it should make pretty easy work of getting that cleared out. Hopefully.
On heroic. Yeah. On legendary,
well, yes.
Good luck with that one.
You probably want to do it on the least hardest difficulty as possible.
I would highly recommend this one on heroic.
Yes, definitely. So as you're going through, you're just cleaning up enemies. And actually, as you finish this section, you pass through to another open area where you see the next Phantom, and I forget who makes the comment. I think it's like Fred who normally does, but it's like the Covenant think that they own this place, and then Chief says, well, let's show them that they're wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little corny, but I think it was appropriate for Blue Team, at least.
Put a little humor into it, though, which was nice.
Yeah. So something to kind of break up the dialogue a little bit. But in this next area, you also have another kind of splattering of enemies. You have kind of three main groups. You have your first group, which is grunts and jackals with shields. And then you have your next area, which is just a lot of grunts. And you have jackal with either snipers or carbines, depending on which difficulty that you're doing in the next area. And then at the very top, where you're going to be activating your second hologram panel, there are elites in turrets, and I think there's an elite with the sword and fuel rods, stuff like that. There's also a plasma caster that you can pick up if you hang to the far left before you pass the Phantom. And then if you go into the cave on the right, you'll find another fuel rod. So there's plenty of heavy weapons on this map. So as you approach this kind of next 400 platform, pick your power weapons if you're wanting to do that. After you take out the elites in the turret and take out all the rest of the enemies, make sure before you head up to the next hologram pad that you pick up the fourth piece of intel, which is just beneath where the turrets were. Then you can go up to the hologram pad and you'll hear a little dialogue back and forth between Chief and Blue Team saying that they're obviously being led here and that someone is trying to prevent Covenant from accessing these panels but are letting them in. So kind of playing to the whole suspicious that it is Cortana acting behind the scenes, even though they're not able to reach out to her yet. So they activate the second hologram panel, take the elevator on down, and then you get to a light bridge. But just before you do, you can actually pick up another legendary weapon, and this is the Pool of Radiance. So just as you get out, like after you go down the elevator and come out of the tunnel, if you stick to the left and then you hop up some rocks all the way to the top, you can actually find this fuel rod gun. And I forget what this one does. I think it fires a little bit faster.
It has a higher rate of fire. It has a area of effect as far as damage after the shell hits.
That's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was too crazy. But then as you approach the light bridge, you it actually activates for you. And then as you get across, you are taken into a cutscene where you actually get to meet the Warden, and you have a little dialogue back and forth. And kind of from here on out, there's a lot of dialogue that goes on in the midst of action, kind of going back between Master Chief and Warden Eternal, trying to figure out like why Blue Team is here, why does Blue Team think they're here, and what do they think Cortana is doing or has become. So it's a lot of questions as to what's really going on, why is she doing what she's doing type of thing. And it brings up a lot of questions. I'm assuming everyone that's listening to this at this point has probably played through it, but just in case you haven't, you are actually following along at home, there's kind of a lot of questions as to, I guess in the player's mind, how Cortana is still alive, why she's doing why is she here, why is she leading Chief to activate these panels and activate whatever this weird tower thing is that seems to be activating whenever they're at these panels. And then Warden kind of comes back and says, well, why do you think Cortana has you here? Why, what do you think she's going through? And through some of the dialogue, it kind of comes to a head where what Chief's goal is, which we learned that is to kind of bring Cortana back home, and what Cortana is trying to achieve and what the Warden is trying to help her achieve is something totally different from that. And we start to see a little bit of that happen in this dialogue, where we start to get suspicious of, okay, there's really something bigger going on here than Chief just trying to find Cortana and find out what happened to her. There's some other force going on. There's a reason why she is called Chief there specifically, and there's a reason why these Guardians are popping up all of a sudden. So with that dialogue in mind, that kind of actually happens through the next half, or I guess the next quarter technically, of this mission. So on to the more tactical stuff, unless you guys have something to add to that.
I got nothing.
Okay.
The story gets much deeper the longer you play. Oh.
It does. Well, that's just normal, so I hope I explained that all right. Did I explain that all right?
Yeah, it sounded good to me.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody's thoroughly confused now.
Thank you. If someone in the chat wants to help make me feel a little bit at ease, that would be appreciated.
There.
All right, so while they're doing that, while the stream actually catches up to that, tactically, moving along, after you have your little cutscene with the Warden, you will head on through some more cave area. You will get to a place where you can Spartan charge or melee through a wall to the left, and you'll find kind of a little shrine-looking area. That's another piece of intel that you'll be able to pick up. Hop on out of there. You'll also find a binary rifle that you'll be able to pick up for the next area as well. And you're going to be facing, I guess you don't have too many more different sets of enemies, but you do have pretty much 3 big sets of Promethean enemies that you're going to be coming across. So the first round is going to be mostly soldiers. I think you have 4 or 5 soldiers that you're fighting through. You can either
with watchers.
I didn't think there were watchers.
With watchers
yet.
And at least 1 splinter turret.
No, that's the next group. Because this first group is just 4 or 5 soldiers, and then the next group is where you have those different elevated places where you can go off to the right, and then you have the 3 splinter turrets and the watchers. Or at least I'm splitting those up a lot. In terms of groups of enemies.
No, there's 1 splinter turret in here because I use that splinter turret to take care of the other 2, or the other 3 in the next little area.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe there is.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, but is it a soldier splinter turret? Well, yeah, they're all soldiers up until the big Warden part. So yeah.
No, it's a soldier captain that has a splinter turret, but there are regular soldiers there.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there's a group of soldiers there. Don't think there's a watcher on that first group. I know there are on the second group.
Yeah, on the first group there is 1 watcher. The next group there are, I believe, I think there's only 2 on the next group.
Okay, but anyways, as you're approaching this first group, I would personally recommend going to the left and flanking. That way, you're not fighting them all head on, and they're not all shooting at you. You can jump over the ravine and head them straight on if you want, but I would say, especially on the higher difficulties, stick to the left, and you'll be able to flank them easier and manage them more on the one-to-one basis. There's also a weapons cache on a little foreigner alcove type of thing, so you can pick up some ammo there. Then the second area, you can kind of clamber on top to some shelves that are sticking out of the walls. You can hop up on there to get some height advantage, or you can stick to the cave on the right and flank that way. I think either one kind of poses different strategies, but either one are equally valid in terms of attacking the enemy. I think from just kind of a movement standpoint, I prefer the cave just because you're able to back up and get cover a lot more easier and be able to kind of pull them in to where you can isolate them. But that's just...
Well, I use the cave because I'm carrying a turret.
That too. That works too. You don't want to shoot the ground beneath you accidentally. Because I've done that plenty of times.
Well, no, you can't clamber when you're carrying a turret.
That's true as well. Yeah. But if you have the fuel rod or like a binary or some other power weapon that you've carried along somehow, using that top ledge and just raining down fire is a very good strategy as well. However you decide to do that, before you head on past the soldiers with the splinter turrets, like the 3 of them, there is another little gap in the floor, and there's a little pedestal there, foreigner pedestal, and that you can find your 6th piece of intel there. So make sure you pick that up before you head on out too quickly. And then this is where you get to fight the warden after this part. So if you do have a chance to pick up the splinter turrets, I highly recommend it. It'll make this next area at least a little bit easier. You'll be able to take out the smaller enemies a lot more quickly. I wouldn't say waste the splinter turret stuff on the warden. I would save that for some of your other power weapons if you've managed to bring those along with you. If you haven't, then you're kind of up to finding a lot of ammo from the Forerunner resupply crates that are scattered around this next area. And there's plenty of ammo there. And I know when I ran this on Legendary Solo, there was a lot of times where I felt I was just pounding through ammo. And for the warden, sometimes you'll just have to do that. But there is enough ammo around to where you can find enough firepower to take out the warden.
I actually found that the suppressor works very well against the warden.
So this is something that was interesting. Whenever I was playing with Proyce Joker, whenever we did kind of our mini Operation Supply Drop stream, apparently speedrunners use a tactic where they get right behind the warden and they take the scatter shot and just pump it into his back. And apparently he, I guess, like twitches every time, so he's not turning around.
He stun locks him.
Yeah, pretty much. And then apparently shooting is faster than shooting, reload full, and then shooting all the 5. So they actually just keep on shooting during the reload. And then eventually you can get to the point where you can assassinate the warden as well. You just have to make sure
I never can get that close to him.
It's a lot easier to do in Warzone than
every
campaign.
Time I get close to him.
Yeah. Warzone's a lot easier to do it than in campaign, for sure.
Warzone, he just kind of stands there.
Yeah. If you are able to get into a position where the warden's kind of off on his own, and this is if you're playing solo. If the warden's kind of off on his own and you do have a scatter shot, you could try that method and then take him out that way. But if you are playing solo, just keep in mind that you have some other knights with incineration cannons and other soldiers running around that if you don't take them out first before you try to take out the warden, they'll likely shoot you in the back as you're trying to take out the warden. So something to be mindful of. I would suggest at least taking out all the soldiers in that first area. Take them all out. You don't necessarily have to worry about the soldiers and the knights in the back too much because the warden's going to be right there in your face. Focus on the warden unless one of the soldiers or the knights kind of charge you into that middle area, which it doesn't seem to happen as often, so I think you're mostly safe trying to get the warden out first before you address that kind of back group of enemies.
Well, I found a good strategy on that one, on Legendary at least, if you're doing it solo, is when you come into this area, if you look off to your right, there's a wall you can charge through, and it gives you a height advantage on the area where you can, and you've got some cover where you can hide from the lesser enemies like the crawlers and the soldiers. They won't in my experience, they won't teleport up there, but there's a little ammo cache there, and you can get a pretty good line of sight on the warden. But I do recommend that you at least take the knights out first before you start focusing on the warden, because they're carrying that stupid cannon that it always comes up and bites you in the butt. The incineration cannon seems to work better for the knights in campaign than it does anywhere else.
I don't know. They can be pretty dangerous in Warzone.
Yes, they can be, but they just seem to be a lot more effective in campaign.
Fair enough.
But that's the strategy I found that works. It gives you cover from both of the warden's attacks. You're not close to him, so you don't have to worry about him stomping you. And you can use the rest of your team members to distract him so you can get a shot at his back.
Okay, fair enough. There's also another legendary weapon in here, and you can either get this in the middle of battle or you can get it afterwards. It's not really useful afterwards, so I would try to get either after you immediately destroy the warden, if there's still some enemies left behind, like if you've let the knights alone or if they didn't attack you. Then after you kill the warden, there's a little cave in the right, kind of by where the warden first comes in. You head over there, you can kind of see a little cave hidden in the right before the big open area. And you can find a pretty cool instant cannon there. It's the River of Light. And that incineration cannon, it has, if you do the charge on it, if you do the regular incineration cannon, I think if you hold the charge, it shoots out. I think in campaign it shoots out maybe 4 shots or something like that. I know in Warzone it only shoots out the 1, but in campaign I think it shoots out the 4. But this one shoots out 12 of them at once, in rapid succession.
If you hold it down, it almost shoots a beam.
Yeah, it's crazy. This thing is ridiculous. And it kind of sucks that this is at the very end of the mission, too.
Well, not the very end, but pretty close to it.
Well, the only other enemies that you're fighting is the cave where you're going through either on foot, if you want to go on foot, or via Phaeton.
Well, there is an achievement to go on foot.
That is true.
And it's not that difficult to do on foot. It is definitely a lot easier to do it in the Phaeton, because you just pretty much fly through it and you kill some turrets and then you're done. But
even on foot, though, you can pass up a lot of those groups of enemies without getting much of a scratch. Even on Legendary, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, but when you start getting around the turrets and stuff, that ensign cannon can be really handy if you're walking.
Yeah. If you're
Granted,
walking,
you only really need you only need to do that once, unless you just like walking it. Me, I just grab the Phaeton and fly to the end.
Phaeton's so much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after defeating the warden, you actually hear from Cortana for the first time, and she's all happy that John's there, and John is so on point. It's like, what's going on? What's happening? And Cortana's like, I wish I could tell you, but you will find out in time, and kind of goes into a little bit of who the warden is, gives a little bit of background of what he's there for, and then she kind of explains how she survived the after events of Halo 4. So if you're wondering how Cortana's alive, this is the point where she basically says, the domain is what saved me, and the domain helped cure her rampancy. So this is the thing where if you go back to podcasts that we've talked about, especially back when kind of Halo 4 was still prevalent, where we said if Cortana was alive, there's probably something to do with that she was in the didact system of his ship, and that it could be connected to some Forerunner network, and we don't know what the librarian did, because the librarian could have uploaded, made a copy of Cortana and uploaded that copy to the domain. If that was part of the gayage that she imprinted on to Halsey to make Cortana, and then Cortana gets in contact with the librarian, and the librarian secretly makes a copy of her and uploads her to the domain, well, you got a recipe right there for how to save any kind of AI intelligence that's been in contact with any kind of Forerunner network.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the debate that I've heard some people talk about. Is the Cortana that has taken over the Guardians, is that one of the fragments she released into the Didact ship, or is she a copy of the whole Cortana AI that the Librarian has made?
It's hard to say. I think there's a lot of stuff in there that we don't know, and that we don't know for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure it will come out in future media, whether it be games or books. The one thing we forgot to mention is if you do plan on walking the Phaeton area, you can pick up another legendary weapon. The Twin Jewel of... Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a beam rifle that instead of... This is a beam rifle. Instead of having one beam that comes out of it, it has two beams. And it's pretty effective against pretty much everything.
Don't cross the beams!
Don't cross the beams!
Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah, I hadn't quite gotten to that yet because I was still on the whole Cortana explaining the domain, which is in the last part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the last legendary weapon, right? Because there's one more.
No, that is the last legendary on this level.
Okay, so it's just the skull then.
Yeah, the only thing left is the skull.
Yeah, all right. So whether you take the Phaeton or you go on foot, you'll get to this final area, and it's the very end of the level, and it's just as you're approaching the structure that you've been activating, which we'll find out what that is in later missions. It's kind of been hinted to it here as being something related to the domain, but we'll find out a little bit more on the next blue team mission. But before you get onto the bridgeway, that's kind of the Forerunner architecture. If you stick to the right, there's kind of a Forerunner observation area, and that is where your next skull is. The Cloud Skull for this mission. So that's the last skull that there is on this one, and that's mission 7. So we're done with that one. So we're at this point we're more or less halfway. We had that one hub filler, and then if you take that out, we have 6 missions done here. And then we have 6 more missions to go, excluding the 2 other hub missions. So we're halfway through the campaign. How about that? We've only played as blue team twice. And we only play as blue team one more time, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But hey, that's life. Okay, so for the multiplayer this week, I figured we would, if you guys have played Breakout at all, I actually got to play it quite a bit this past weekend, which was actually kind of fun. I remember whenever I had the press event back in September? Yeah, September of last year. I had a great time with Breakout, but as the game came out, it's just like, this just isn't something that I'm feeling as something that would stick. But I actually had quite a bit of fun of it over the weekend, so I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk Breakout or not, since we haven't talked about that on the show yet.
Yeah, if you want.
Have you guys played Breakout at all?
I've played Breakout. It's not my go-to game type. When I do play it, I have a lot of fun with it, especially if I'm playing with friends or randoms that will actually talk to you. I mean, it's a nice mix of, a regular Slayer type and SWAT. And right now, SWAT is my favorite. I just have a lot of fun playing it. I don't know why, but it's just fun. And the Breakout, it's a nice mix. I generally only play it when I can get a group of people together to play. I very rarely go in there just with randoms anymore.
Yeah. The only place I'm comfortable going in with randoms for Arena right now, at least ranked Arena, is SWAT. But because everything else is, you need a good team. SWAT is a little more left open to randomness because of the no shield, and it is all headshots. There is a significant amount of skill, but I think the rest of the playlists require a little bit more skill and coordination with a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if anyone is willing to help me out, since I'll probably be snowed in this weekend, if you want to help me get the ranks in the other playlists, I'd be more than happy to have you guys on board with that, since I only am ranked in SWAT right now. Gold 5.
I would love to, but I kind of have a little project I'll be working on Saturday. Hopefully.
Yeah, I'll be working on a project of mine as well. At least that's the idea.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Yes. Hopefully, for sure.
More about that at the end of the show. Oh.
No. That project needs to get done. But yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about Breakout a little bit. So it's kind of a playoff of
paintball.
Yeah. It's heavily inspired by paintball. If you guys
Speedball,
Sprint. Yes. As Bio was saying before he stops talking. Speedball. I was just expecting you to just go on, but yeah, Speedball. And that's actually it's kind of gone through a little bit of changes ever since the beta, which it was just Slayer in the beta, but now they actually have a neutral objective, which is the flag, to kind of help prevent some stalemates, which I think was kind of cool to throw in there. I still liked my idea of having the bell, kind of interesting, but I think the flag makes it a little bit more risky, which is pretty good.
I like the flag concept, but I would almost like it to maybe show up in the fourth game, like your first 3 rounds, it not be there.
But that's a different game, because strategy does kind of change quite a bit when you have an objective versus when it's just Slayer.
Well, the deal is
because the flag pulls out the campers.
Yes, it does pull out the campers, but it can also make for a really quick round. There's been multiple times that we basically, not so much in the breakout. Breakout's a little bit different, but you just pull the flag and you cap it.
Yeah, but I think those quick rounds are better to have than the stalemates and the longer times.
That's why I am not saying eliminate it completely. I mean, what they've got is fun. Don't get me wrong. As far as the breakout game type, it's fun. It's just, sometimes sometimes the rounds go by too quickly because of the flag.
I don't know if I agree with that.
But I think
the flag doesn't seem to do anything in most matches.
See, here's the thing, though. In some of the matches I've played with Breakout, I've honestly felt that, it did, like you said before, it brings out the campers. But I've been in situations where it's a one-on-one duel, and that round ended as a tie because no one wanted to sit there and take that risk to get the flag. So, I don't know. I mean, the flag's there. It definitely does pull out some things, but I don't necessarily feel that that's the main thing that people are going to go for in this game mode.
The only time you're really going to get that, though, is on a one-on-one. And I think that flag is meant more there for if you have kind of the numbers. 2-on-3, 3-on-2. Yeah.
That's the only time any team I'm playing with, that is the only time we ever pull that flag is when we have numbers.
I guess. I don't know. I've seen more just taking out the enemy more than I've seen trying to pick up that flag.
I don't know. I've pulled the flag as a distraction tactic.
Yeah.
I don't think it really plays. I'm kind of with Haas on this. I think it makes it quicker whenever it needs to be quicker, but it doesn't. I think overall it positively impacts the outcome of the match versus negatively impacts. Because it is there to kind of help break a lull if it is something where it's like a 3-on-3 and if people aren't pushing to sides, there is that flag to where it is going to kind of force out. Or if it's a 3-on-2, that 3 team is most likely going to pull the flag and it's going to cause the 2 players to come out to try to challenge them. Or if they hide, then they're just going to score the flag. So it does make it to where it goes quicker, which I think is kind of the point.
Well, true. I don't know, maybe have the flag spawn in 90 seconds into the round or something like that.
I don't know.
I mean, overall, it's a fun game type.
I personally feel like it's as good as it's going to get. It's nowhere near my favorite, but I don't really have anything that I could offer as a constructive feedback. Like they did the one thing I thought they should do, and that's add shields, but it still just doesn't feel right to me. So
yeah,
it's very significantly. Wow. it is significantly different from normal Halo play in that you do have less shields, you have less damage resistance, and you can easily get taken out by a nade or a punch. So it's a lot more risky there. Like if you were to do and was there was a playlist a while ago that it was like breakout game mode, but it was normal shields and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's
Arena Breakout.
Yeah,
that was actually a lot of fun.
Arena Breakout has been added to Team Arena.
And then that is,
but for some reason, that's not in the competitive tournaments, which is weird. But
I don't know. I feel Arena Breakout is more my go-to between regular and between two game types. I feel that Arena Breakout is more of the
Halo style.
Like I feel that's the more of the Halo style, and I feel like I don't know. I like it way better in my personal opinion. Like me and Haas went about this 10 episodes, 11 episodes ago. Well, you were like going and telling me that it'd be a good idea, and I was completely against it. I was eating my words because I absolutely love Arena Breakout. It's my at this point in time, it's my favorite game type in Halo 5 right now. I love it a lot. And the thing that's really nice about it, I didn't think it'd be balanced. Because everyone had normal shields and everyone could constantly run away and all that other stuff. But if you get a dedicated team that knows what they're doing and they have a massive, they have a lot of coordination going on, they're going to destroy the complete opposite team. And I've had that several different times, and it's, I don't know, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it compared to regular Breakout. Regular Breakout, I've barely touched.
The one thing I've noticed with the Arena Breakout is the flag gets pulled a lot more often.
Yeah.
In regular, yeah.
Arena Breakout, the flag, well, they're both neutral. In both cases, they're neutral flag, but the flag gets grabbed more often in Arena Breakout than it does in regular Breakout. At least the games that I've played.
Yeah, but I think that kind of points to as well that the difference in the shields for normal Breakout is significant to the point where it's almost like a different game.
Well, and those shields aren't consistent to me. The bullet registration in regular Breakout, I honestly, either the bullet damage is down or something. It's bad.
Well, I think it's supposed to be different.
It's not the normal health system. There's no way you could convince me that it is.
Well, it is supposed to be weaker health.
Yes, weaker health, but I'm saying the amount of shots and everything that it takes to kill an enemy is way different.
I mean, it usually takes 3 shots with the pistol to get a kill.
So a normal kill is 5. But it's either the bullet registration or something. I don't know. Your bullets don't feel correct.
I guess I just haven't played it enough to notice that, because when I've played it, it seems like the pistol is pretty consistently a 3-shot kill. The DMR, I think, kills in 2 or 2. Yeah, I think DMR will kill in 2 if you can get it picked up.
BR's 2. If you can land all 6 shots and get the last one as a headshot. I don't think the DMR is 2. I think it's still 3.
Like I said, it's true. I very rarely get the DMR, so I can't say that for certain. So
yeah. Well,
but now that I got my Elite controller.
I'm actually getting mine on, depending on when mail actually comes, because of Snowmageddon. I'm supposed to get mine Monday, but it'll probably just be some point next week. I'll actually get my Elite controller.
Once they find the roads
today.
Again.
Yeah, exactly. I got an email from Amazon today that says your controller is going to be estimated arrival on Monday. I'm like, yes, score. I'm excited.
Weatherman, Snowmageddon's coming. Oh no.
Yeah, I've got early dismissal tomorrow, and they've already started canceling flights in the area.
Nice. So you can't even get out of town. Oh.
Well, if there's what they're predicting, which is possibly 2.5 feet of snow, I'm not even getting out of the house.
I don't blame you. Hope the fridge is stocked up.
Tasman said, Dusty gets delivery by dog sled. That'd be interesting if UPS decided to deliver by dog sled.
I was in Denver one year, and pretty much everybody, all the essential services were running around on snowmobiles.
That's kind of cool.
Because we got over, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, got about 12 inches of snow.
Nice. So out of all the breakout maps that you guys have played, what is your favorite out of the 6? Do I need to list them off for you?
I really don't have a favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, they all seem pretty equal. I mean, they play differently because the focus is different because of where the weapon placement are. But I mean, I when I play, I enjoy all the maps pretty equally. There's not one that really stands out to me that's better than the rest of them. So, what do you think, Haas?
If I had to pick one, I'd say Trident.
Yep. That's a pretty good one.
Trident was Strong Side's map, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's the one I really liked a lot. I like the fact that there was an underground part of it that you can grab the Hydra launcher or the Hydra.
That was on the bridge.
It was on the below too.
Yeah.
No, it's just on the bridge.
No, the Hydra's down below.
Yeah, the Hydra's down below.
The flag's up top.
No, you guys are talking about Trident?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I'm thinking of the wrong map. Sorry. I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong map. That's right.
Okay.
No, my bad. So my personal favorite. I'm trying to figure out which one it was. I'm clicking through here. I thought it was Gamble, but looking at the overlay, it is Gamble. Sorry, that's right. Yeah, my favorite would be Gamble. Has the 2 hexagonal bases up top with the DMRs, and then it also has the camo and the plasma nades up on the little higher arc. Gamble would be my favorite breakout map.
I've played that a lot. Played that one a lot, actually. I feel the DMRs are more like snipers in that map. Everyone wants to sit there and go for them.
They're pretty effective in that occupation.
Oh, yeah. And then you got camo on left, if I remember correctly. Well depending on which side you spawn in. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, camo is up on... If you go to the ramp side, it's up there on the top, sticking on a little alcove that overlooks the flag.
And then on the other side, you have the shotgun.
Yep. And then 2 DMRs on the towers. There's some ARs out there. A couple of splinter grenades. And then there's also a set of plasma grenades up there by the camo as well. But that's my personal favorite.
Yeah. I hope they bring in some more maps. Because, now that we're talking about it, I'm honestly thinking about giving it another try.
Well, Riptide. If we get Riptide in there, that looks like a fun map to play.
Yeah.
I bet they're bringing that one in. I'd be very surprised if they did not bring that one in.
I hope so.
They featured it. What?
In Breakout or?
Yeah. That's the one that got highlighted in the community spotlight last week. It was done by Berserk and
Bubba.
The other guy. Yeah, Little Black Bubba.
Little Black Bubba. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. I actually got to play that. Not with them, but I got to play it on a forgot exactly where I played it on, but that was it was a fun map. It was a real fun map to play.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I would love to play on that map. So, anyways, do you guys have any other things to mention about Breakout?
Not for me.
Not really, no.
Me.
There are a couple other maps that we didn't mention. Altitude, which I personally don't like. It's the one that they're using HCS, and I don't think it's a good map. Sorry, Ghost.
Which?
I just... It's the one with... It's very high elevation, green one? Very low. No, it's red and blue and white. So when you launch, you have that ramp up to the middle with the flag up there, and then you have the very deep pits.
Yeah.
It's a very vertical map. I do not like it.
I don't really mind that one too much. I don't like the green one, which I think is Neighbor's map, if I remember correctly.
Gamble? That's the one I like.
Yeah, I mean... No, it wasn't Gamble. It was another one. Come on. It may have been...
green. Altitude was red. Crossfire was yellow. Trench was, I think it was red and white.
I gotta play through them all again. I can't. I remember very little of them. I just know that it was black, red, and yellow.
Crossfire was
it Crossfire?
Was yellow.
Okay. I know I had a lot of fun
yellow in the final
that,
game. I guess I'll say that.
Yeah. No, Breakout's a cool idea of a game type. I just don't find it very... I find it fun at times. I just don't... It's not something I feel I'm going to go to all the time. It's not my go-to game at all. Like, when I'm in a mood to sit there and play something and kind of get into it, then I'll play it, but it's not something I'm going to play every day.
And sorry, it's not Riptide that's the Breakout map. It's the Pit remake, but I forget what the name is that they have for it. It's not Riptide. Sorry. Apparently I misspoke. So thank you, Eric Kipu, for that. It's not Riptide. That's the map that's being made for this. That's the remix map. Yeah, I forget what it's called now.
Dust is on update overload.
Something. I beats the heck out of me. But yeah, it's a Pit remake made for Breakout. If someone wants to look it up for me real quick, I would appreciate it, and I'll read it out. So, main topic tonight. We've kind of already alluded to it a little bit in talking about this update, but we've kind of had some discussion in our own little kind of staff chat, and then there's obviously been a lot of stuff going on Twitter lately, and I think a lot of people are just trying to figure out what 343 is doing with content updates. And it's getting to the point now where with something as ridiculous as the pizza and the fries skin, which has no correlation to Halo whatsoever, it's really not... I mean, people don't really care that much about this stuff. And this is not just... It's just us four saying that we don't care. Like, if you look at Twitter, if you look at a lot of people... The things that we care about most, that the community cares about the most, and that we've been asking for since day one of the game, is game modes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Legit game modes added to the game. And then the next big thing would be actual big team maps, and actual maps to play that are not specific to 4v4 Arena. And instead of getting those things, instead of getting what the community really wants, and not some of the piddly small stuff that it's like, hey, this would be kind of cool to have, like a weird pizza and fry skin. It just is something that 343 doesn't seem to have necessarily the right vision in going forward with trying to get some of the community stuff out there.
There's a public outcry for something that everyone's seeing, and it's honestly pissed me off to no end that we're not getting what everyone is wanting. And the game, it's something that the game needs desperately. You know, it's getting to the point to where people are literally just dropping the game because it's like, all right, I don't want to constantly play Arena all the time or play Warzone, you know, all this other stuff, because I want the game types that is what brought me to the Halo franchise to begin with. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've gotten to the point to where I've gotten very heated at the fact that 343 hasn't even came close to putting out the content that they should have. The content that the game should have had day one. It's not even coming up on these updates that they're doing. They're giving us petty, crappy things that we don't need. I mean, yeah, sure, they're cool and everything else. You know, the maps we need, and there's no doubt about that. But when it comes to that, everything is revolving around the rec system and skins and stuff like that. That's not where their head should be at this point in time. It needs to be where the game is lacking, and that's not where things are being addressed. And it's aggravating. And another thing to be honest about is, like, I'm barely playing Halo 5. I've barely touched it, and it's aggravating because Halo's been the game that I've always played just about every day of my life. And not to say that that's a good thing to say. It's not. You're not getting... It's not a very good thing to do at all. But it's all the time that I've spent and all the time I put into this game, and to see it turn into something that I don't like in the direction that 343 is going with it, I can't stand. I can't stand it at all.
Well, and Haas, you haven't been playing much Halo 5 either, based on what we've talked about.
Part of it is a lot of my friends have kind of just moved on, and when, you know, like, I am kind of one of the few on the West Coast of my friends. So if they were to be on, it's usually at a time I can't get on. But, even still, I've just kind of had more fun playing other games. I've even gone back to playing MCC and doing that experience. And, that's a fully functioning game. I'm struggling with the variety we've had, as we've all just said. I mean, there's some core game types that we have grown accustomed to since 2001, and we don't have them. Like, I don't get where their focus was at all. Like, you would think it would be here, but it just hasn't been. And my gaming time is precious, and I want to have fun.
Yes.
And Halo 5 has not been fun. And I hate saying that because I do enjoy the gameplay. The gameplay is awesome. It needs stuff built around that gameplay that not only just makes me want to play, because, at this point in my life, I want to have fun with my friends. And if my friends aren't having fun on a game, then I can't, that does affect my enjoyment. Nobody wants to listen to your 3 other friends that you're rolling Arena talking about how they would rather just jump off and go play Ark. Has been, let me just say that title. It's been Ark for a lot of my friends the last 3 months. And
yeah,
I just, how there's no Oddball or in King of the Hill. I mean, just those two. If Strongholds is your King of the Hill, okay, say that. But it's not King of the Hill to me. But
well, Strongholds is more of a territories type deal than a King of the Hill. There's so many mini games that are based off of the other game types that were not included in the game, which should have been there at launch. I'm not saying every game type that has ever shipped with Halo should have been there, but there is a core group of game types that have been in every Halo game that it should have shipped with.
Yep.
I can understand that they wanted to focus on the competitive multiplayer for the launch of the game. Okay, fine.
Well, that's the thing. To me,
release the other game types.
This isn't competitive multiplayer.
Yeah, I know.
What was a big complaint about Halo 2 Anniversary's 4v4? There was nothing to do. There were 3 maps that were competitive arena-style maps, and that got boring. It was boring to watch on their competitive tourneys, and it was boring to play after a certain point in time. 3 game types is, to me, worse than 3 really good maps.
Yeah. I mean, the game has 5 game types. Counting Warzone.
And Warzone Assault, yeah.
You have 5 different things you can do in the game.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
Halo
1 had more game types than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, core game types since Halo 1, just nowhere to be seen.
Put it this way. In every single Halo game that we've had so far, except for Halo 5, we've had Slayer, CTF, Oddball, King of the Hill. I think that's it.
Yeah, race. Well, a race form.
Halo 2 did not have race.
Oh.
Halo 3 didn't have race. It was modified off of VIP.
Well, it wasn't until Halo 2. Well, right, but it was in Halo 2 too. Like, it was community based.
It was an honor system infection.
It was Slayer.
Yeah.
Talking about
the point of the matter is there's these core game types that the game should have shipped with.
Yes.
No matter what 343 thinks or what
Oddball has been in every single game. And Oddball, you could, I mean, not quite Griffball, but it just goes to show that there's a core.
Oh, Assault.
That has been, no, Assault wasn't in Halo 1.
Yeah.
But it was in Halo 2. It was in 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So you could add Assault to maybe like 2 and on. But I'm talking about every single core. Halo game. Every single Halo game, the core, kind of as it stands, is Slayer, CTF, Oddball, and King of the Hill. Those are your 4 core game modes. Halo 5 is missing 2 of those. You have half of your core game modes for Halo. Half.
Yeah. And not only the game mode things, there's still bugs in Halo 5. that have not been addressed yet.
Spawning?
Just in the UI. Have you guys actually tried to load a custom game lately?
Yeah, when I end a custom game, it like goes back to the game and then like 5 seconds later it quits.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even talking about that. But if to load a custom game, you have to pick the map, and then you have to pick the game type that the actual game type is based on, whether it be Slayer, Team Slayer, Strongholds. Then you have to go back in and select the game type that goes with your map. Because if you just go to the game type that fits the map, it won't load.
Jeez. I haven't come across that yet.
Yeah. Not last Friday, but the Friday before, I tried to put up some custom games, and it would not load the game type. So I did some digging. Bad. Yeah, I did some digging and actually saw this on one of Duquesne's videos, that in order for the custom game to work, I had to pick the map, and then this particular map uses a Stronghold variant. So I had to go into the menu and pick Strongholds. And then after that loaded in, I could go back and change the game type to the actual game type that I needed for that map.
Was this an issue before the latest update, or has this always been an issue?
It's kind of always been there.
Okay, so this is a known, like...
It's something that's only shown up recently because custom games are getting made.
Yeah, because of Forge.
Because of Forge.
Yeah.
And, when, I was doing custom modes before, it didn't matter because that custom mode, even if it was saved on my own, if it's saved on your own Xbox, then it's not a problem. It's a problem with the bookmark system.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with the file share system that we talked about last week whenever we had the Forge folks on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just, it doesn't cut it. I mean, it's nice to have. Right now, at least we can share maps to an extent, but there's still just a lot of things out there that it's kind of lackluster and not performing the way it really needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it like this, and I'll put it plainly. Halo 4 had more game types that I can honestly say that I enjoyed more than Halo 5 did. And 343 at that point just made that was their first game. As 343 Industries, that was their first game. It's gotten worse. In my opinion, it's gotten worse as they were making it with, Master Chief Collection was a total flop. Halo 2 Anniversary, there was nothing really there. It was very stale. It was very pretty maps. It was kind of, them trying to revamp the Halo 2 days, which didn't feel like Halo 2 at all, especially after playing Halo 2.
And hybrid engine, yeah.
Yeah, and like Halo 5 is supposed to be their main game. Like, this is their game that they're coming out saying that this is going to... They did a couple things right. Gameplay, they nailed. Great. They nailed gameplay. Warzone, awesome requisition system that is revolving around different things, and Warzone's a really fun game type that everyone loves, and that's kind of something that they brought in, and that's kind of making them their money that they need. But it's like this: if there's not content that's going to sit there and be put out with monthly things, game types aren't hard to make. I'm going to say that much right now. It's not hard. You have modders out there that are going to sit there and try to sit there and do things that had put out things within a week rather than 4 months after the game's launch, and we still haven't gotten anything. We got a Forge. Yeah, that's
looking at the mods in Halo 4, those mods were still buggy.
They were still buggy, but there was still something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we're getting nothing.
But 343 is going to release something that is in a working, quote unquote working state. I mean, we have a bunch of bugs already, but I mean, gameplay wise, it seems like Halo 5 is pretty solid. The UI is another story, but gameplay wise, it seems like we're good. And while game types, I mean, yeah, they're easier than some aspects of making the game, but there's still quite a bit that you have to do in terms of testing and bug breaks too, because there's lots of different things and scenarios that could happen, and the more complex a game gets, the more complicated those bugs get. So I can understand.
Well, this is basically
I would understand that if they were not working on these game types at all, and they started from launch day to make these game types, 3 months would be about right, I think, to make these game types.
Yeah, but you're going against it and saying that they should have been in the game to begin with.
Right,
That's
right.
what I'm trying to get at. They should have been in there to begin with, and we still, after 3 months after the game's been out, we still don't have it. That has been the number one thing, apart from Forge and custom games, that has been the number one thing I've seen people talk about on Twitter, Reddit, and everything else, apart from just bugs and random crap that happens on Halo 5. Game types is what people been wanting, and we still don't have it. We're getting pizza skins. That's what we're getting.
Yep.
I mean,
and I know there's and this does make sense. There is the argument that the team that's working on the requisition skins is different than the team that creates the game modes and does the functionality, which is true. It's very true. But at the same time, you're looking at 343. If you look at from a resource perspective and a hiring perspective, there should be more focus on people being hired for game functionality, like the actual experience of Halo, than over this random customization crap.
And
we should be paying more people for those kind of developers instead of artists, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes Halo. The fundamentals of Halo is the functionality of being able to play these game modes and these experiences that we've had since Halo 1 in a game that has the Halo title on it. I mean, to some people, Halo 5 is still a beta.
And that's something I wanted to bring up too. I had more fun, and this is something that I've seen a recurrence of a lot lately. We've gotten betas within, Destiny, Halo 5, all these different betas. Everyone can back me up when I say this, had an absolute blast playing them. They had an absolute blast playing them because there was barely anything there because it was a beta. There wasn't
I didn't
too
enjoy
much
the Destiny beta, honestly.
Well, okay, I'm going on Halo 5 here. It's just kind of what I'm going at.
Okay, Halo 5, yes, I would agree.
Everyone had a really fun time playing it. They were testing different things out. They switched out certain things within that 3-week period. We got Breakout. We had BR starts. We had AR. We had different things going in there. They were minuscule compared to what the game is. We didn't have Warzone and all this other stuff. We had the arena part of the beta. I had more enjoyment playing that beta. As many bugs as I had in that beta, I had more enjoyment playing that than I have within the 3 months of playing Halo 5.
Well, the biggest deal there is the game hasn't changed that much from the beta. Yes, they've made some changes. They've tuned weapons. But what have we got since the beta? Strongholds.
Just new maps.
Yeah.
And
no. Strongholds was in the beta. Strongholds was in the beta.
That's right.
It was in there for the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing
we've got different maps, but we've got the same gameplay. And yes, we did get Warzone, but this just boils back to a launch fail for me. When I heard that they were delaying the launch of Forge, I'm like, to myself, I'm like, this should have been one of the first things that was completed.
Yep.
I mean, they should have had those cartographers in there playing with Forge a year before the game launched.
No, not that much. Maybe 2 months before it launched, but not.
Well, they were there only. No, I meant before the game launched.
Yeah, not a year.
They had the cartographers there. What, a month and a half before the game launched, but
barely
Forge was still another two months away. Anyway, the point of the matter is they should have had Forge done a long time ago. I understand it is a major overhaul of Forge. I get that. But when you go with something that ambitious, you need to make sure that you put the resources to it to get it finished on time. The other thing is the base game types that have been Halo staples should have been there at launch.
Yes.
And that it's one of those.
I understand that they focused on what they had to deliver Warzone and the arena experience when it came to Slayer. But if the second scenario is here, okay, Forge was delayed. Okay, that's fine. They admitted it. Forge was a bigger project than they originally anticipated because they did this major overhaul. The game type should have launched with Forge.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I can kind of forgive the file browser part because that you're trying to get two different systems to talk together, but still, the game types should have been available with Forge, whether it was with the launch of the game or the launch of Forge, because those game types drive what the forgers make. I mean, there's a lot of the forging communities.
But it also drives community involvement because not everyone is just going in to do matchmaking. You have a lot of different communities out there that are based around customs.
Exactly. You have Griffball that still doesn't have Griffball in Halo 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't have a hammer.
Nope.
It's just, and the other reason you want that is even in matchmaking, you want that variety.
Yep.
You don't want to tie people, in regular arena, you're tied to 3 different game types, Team Slayer, Strongholds, Capture the Flag.
Right.
And they all play the same. The only difference is Strongholds and Capture Flag, you have an objective. It's just...
Halo right now is suffering the same fate as Titanfall did, because Titanfall had very few game modes, and that was one of the reasons why people left Titanfall, is because there wasn't enough variety. And Halo is doing the exact same thing.
That's 90% of games today. If you look at it on a major scale, that's a lot of the games.
Not Call of Duty. Call of Duty has still a crap ton of game modes at launch.
Right, but this game modes that they've had is always something that's been
and
there.
Luckily, they're building off the same thing every year.
Yeah, and you got to look at it like this too, Dust. They had a crap load of game types in before it. Like ever since Modern Warfare 2 days, they have Search and Destroy, Big Team, what's equivalent to Big Team, Team Deathmatch. They have a list of things that they constantly throw back into the game every single time.
And they're there at launch, though. That's the point.
Exactly.
Just a skin version of the previous game.
Well, yeah, beside that point.
Apart from that, Godzilla, you got to look at it like this, too. Even though it's still a reskin of the old game, their formula is making a lot more sense at this point because everyone's constantly going back.
They know
people are going back to it all the time.
The Call of Duty, yes, it is each version is a reskin, but they do make some very significant changes to the gameplay. You get different weapons that have different damages that are better and worse in different situations. They move some things around, so you kind of got to relearn to play the game. But I'm not faulting them. They're doing a good job. They give their players variety, and that's part of what keeps people coming back to it. Personally, I absolutely hate the way Call of Duty plays, and it doesn't matter which version of it is. I don't like the game mechanics. That's why I play Halo. That's enough for me. That's not enough for everybody. We need variety because honestly, until today is the first time this week I've even fired up my Xbox since Friday because I've had no drive to play.
No. And that's something that aggravates a lot of people too. Like, why don't you play? Why is it that you don't go to, game nights, stuff like that? It's like, I don't want to. I go and play it. I'm going to sit there and have even more resentment for playing it and then not want to go back even more the next time. And
I don't feel that way personally.
Everyone has their own personal thoughts on the matter. But to be honest, it's kind of hit that point for me where there's too much game development going on to up the ante on Halo. And I think too much of it has hurt the game drastically. They put too much time to make it a different, a better game, which is fine. Everything needs to evolve every once in a while. That's great. That's fine. But if your previous titles decline majorly within the first couple weeks, and then the biggest title to come out, the only thing that has going for it right now is REQ systems and gameplay, there's something wrong. There's something majorly wrong, and it could be me just being hurt about it. I don't know. It's just I don't like the way 343 is handling things right now. I really don't. And the thing is, I've backed them up on several different occasions on just wait. We don't get any sort of information apart from what they're going to release, a tease of like after each month of what we're going to get from their next thing. We have had no community outreach whatsoever saying that we're going to get these game types. We haven't got anything. Like, the only thing we've gotten so far is just minor Forge details. And that's it. That's something that 343's been... That's a problem that they've had for a long time now, is not giving us any sort of information.
Yeah, and it's starting to hurt the community, too, because it... Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be the one saving grace right now for all the delays that we have or that we had in Forge and that now we have for the game modes. That'd be the one saving grace, is that if they actually talk to us and say, hey, this is what we're working on, this is the kind of things that we're running into with these things, and maybe why certain things are delayed. Be open
about it.
Yeah.
You're at the point where you have to be.
Well, they're at that point and they're still not doing it.
Well, I know. It is very aggravating. Like, I was talking to some friends the other day. Like, I'm exhausted from defending 343. Like, I think a lot
of us are.
Like, Halo 4, I griped a little bit, as many fans did, and I can say I felt heard. I don't know how I felt heard. I can't even tell you why I felt heard, but at this, just feeling it, looking back, I feel like I was heard. And then MCC came out and it was broken, and the entire time, I was like, you know what? Don't worry, it's gonna get taken care of. They're working on it. Just give them patience. It's getting better. Every little patch, I was tried to be as upbeat and positive as I can. And then, and with that, I was like, there's a promise of Halo 5, and everything I'm seeing and hearing and everything they're saying just sounds great. And then here we are dealing with it, and it's not okay. It's not okay to keep having these half-baked games. It just, I don't have the energy to keep saying, oh, don't worry, more game types are coming, because first of all, there's been nothing to prove that point other than them just recently on a select forum, not even on their Twitter account, saying, hey guys, hey Griffball, we hear you, don't worry, it's coming, we're making sure it's right for you.
And another thing with that too is the community manager at that point. Jess looked at everything, and even if it wasn't completely saying yes or no, we can't confirm it at this time, but we're seeing what you're saying. At least we got something like that. We're not getting that at all. It's nothing. It's nothing at all. We're getting HCS updates and updates on the latest information on the Halo that's coming out, and that's it. We're not getting any sort of, all right, we understand.
Sometimes. There are times when Bravo is replying to people on Twitter, and he's done a lot on Reddit recently.
Yeah, Bravo's done really well on Reddit.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You may not see Reddit, but it is out there. Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to do it but from their official accounts in their weekly updates. Give us that. Don't like Bio said, don't do this little 2.5-second teaser at the end of your 4-hour live stream where it's 2 guys to 5 guys standing on stools talking.
And I mean, no offense to Bravo, but his focus is he's a competitive guy.
Yeah,
he's from competitive, where Jess was a lot more wider community.
Yeah,
and I was hoping that Unishek, when he got brought on to 343, that and maybe this is where it's going down the road. I hope it is, but that he would take over the community manager position, because honestly, he knows the community, the entire community, a lot better than Bravo does.
And that's something that aggravates me right then too. Well, what you just said, Uni hits me up all the time to play. If someone I don't know if you see it, when he tweets at people, he makes sure that he gets back to them. He's kind of in the right direction where Jess was with community manager stuff. When it comes to playing games or whatever, or, reaching out to fans, stuff like that. I'm seeing that from him, and he's not, I don't know. It's just aggravating. It is. It's the most aggravating thing in the world, because this is a franchise that I care about a lot. And to see it go in this direction and me talking about how bad things are going and where things should be is not what I honestly thought I was going to be talking about a year ago.
Well, and if you look at our podcast 3 months ago when Halo just came out and we were defending 343 about, oh, well, this stuff isn't here. Well, it's going to be coming within the next couple of months. I mean, we should have enough time to kind of take in what we have at that launch. And then by the time the new stuff comes out, hey, we'll be just kind of getting our appetites wet enough for some new content, and hey, the new content will be here by then. But it's taken them too long. Yep. They haven't been able to live up to the expectations of what the community wants and what should have been in Halo at launch. Yeah. As a launch title for a Halo that has the Halo name on it. It should have all the stuff that we've mentioned should have been there.
Yep.
I mean, if it's taken this long, I mean, if we had all this stuff by December, I'm sure we'd be tooting a completely different tune. It's like, hey, all is fine and dandy. We didn't necessarily need this at the very beginning. But it's taken too long, and people are just, I mean, more people are falling off. Yeah.
And that's something...
We did see a resurgence a little bit when the Forge community came out with Forge and started making maps. We saw some people come back then. It's like, oh, cool. We actually have some new custom content that people actually care about, not the BS BTB maps that I still don't count as maps. So hopefully 343, you're still making 14 other maps. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's a valid point. I don't think a Forge map should be counted as a DLC map.
No, because it's well, it depends. I say that only because there are some Forge maps that I honestly could consider them being DLC maps. They came out that good.
No, the reason I don't consider them a DLC map is because they were created in game.
Forge.
A DLC, yeah, because they were created in Forge. I'm not knocking the quality of them. Matter of fact, I've looked at some maps that people have done showcases on. A lot of them look better than the on-discs maps that Halo 5 shipped with.
Yeah. Yeah, and
the thing I consider a DLC map is a developer-created map, like Truth, like Eden, something that they don't build in Forge. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind getting Forge maps from the developer, but that should not be counted as DLC.
No, and it really should. And the thing is, it wasn't the developers that made it. Yeah, they did adjustments to it, but it was the community that did.
Yep.
That's what aggravated me even most, and that's what burnt me out. I'm like, and to be perfectly honest, not feel like big team in Halo 5. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It really doesn't to me. And the maps that we got, they're not, no offense to the Forgers, I'm not saying that at all. They did an incredible job. They're just not big team battle maps that should be for Halo 5. The only one that I seen that I honestly feel that was a BTB remake that was done right was the Halo 2 map.
Guillotine.
Yeah. That was the only one that I honestly felt that did a good time.
I mean, Guillotine, I'll agree with you there. I've played Duquesne's map in customs, and it works pretty good for BTB. It's a lot of fun to play in a BTB type environment, but it just burns me that they're passing off Forge content as DLC. As far as their updates, when they do an update, they should be touching the whole game.
Yeah.
They should not be focusing on one particular point of it. I don't care if they come out with 200 rec packs per month. They need to be making sure they're updating the arena side, the Warzone side, Forge. They need to be, every update needs something for
rec packs
can affect the entire community.
Rec packs shouldn't be their primary goal to get out every month. I'm sorry, that's what their minds are set right now.
It is, which is sad, honestly.
It just shows that the money's talking. That's all it is, and no offense to anyone that's buying rec packs, no offense to anyone that's doing it, but you paying for that is putting a number on their screen, so they're going to constantly do more with it. They're not going to sit there and do what other people do. And as sad as it sounds, it's the truth. Numbers talk. Yeah, sure, people are going to have their public outcries. Yeah, there are certain people are going to see that, which is great. But as of right now, it doesn't feel like we're getting any sort of, okay, guys, we see what you're doing. No, we see you guys like in those rec packs. Let's put out pizza and French fried skin ARs, BRs, whatever you want to call it. That it's not what we need. It's not what we need at all. As a franchise, I'm disgusted. Like Halo for me wasn't about money. It was about what people wanted and brought people into the gaming community. And that's what got my attention in the Halo franchise. If I would have got into Halo today and started playing Halo 5, I'd be like, what kind of game is this? I'm done.
Well, and honestly, I'm not buying any more rec packs. Sorry, but unless it's going to be something like the HCS ones where it's directly supporting HCS, I am not spending a single other dollar on rec packs. Sorry.
No.
The way
I bought my 1 gold pack. I'm good. No, I don't have a problem with the money making part of this to a point. If
but really, that's
they're
the only
just going to focus, and let me finish. If they're just going to focus on the rec pack side of it for their updates, I have a problem with it. They need to focus on the whole game, like I said before. The reason I don't have a problem with it is if they can spread their focus across the whole game is for the simple fact that when they do actually come up with some DLC, it doesn't divide the community. That's one of the biggest complaints I've always had with Halo since Halo 2 is map packs. I've always bought the map packs. I very rarely get to play the map packs because there's always somebody in the matchmaking lobby that doesn't have the map packs. And it's very irritating.
I put it like this, though. Even with those map packs or whatever, I still feel, and I'm still going to go with against people when I say this, map packs got the job done. This free stuff,
because they never got played.
Well, I put it like
unless
this.
You were playing customs.
Well, right, but you got to look at it like this. As of right now, I don't feel like anything relatively valuable has came out apart from Forge. Came out valuable at all coming out of this free content. I really don't.
I agree with you on that. And that's why I say that with this money that they're getting paid for all these rec packs,
we're not getting nothing.
Be updating the entire game. Well, I mean, they can't really update campaign, but they need to be touching the arena multiplayer. They need to be touching Forge. They need to be touching Warzone and the rec packs. That money needs to be spent on the whole game, not just on Warzone.
Not just on HCS either.
Yeah, and not just on HCS. It needs to be spread throughout the game. Because if it's not, then we might as well go back to buying our map packs.
Well, that's just...
Well, hang on. Let me add something in here. If the game types were there, then the only thing to be adding would be recs and maps, right?
Well, right.
What new content would there be?
Honestly, and that's going back to the same thing as what I was saying before. With the new maps or whatever, it's still, we're going to get maps. We're going to get, skins. We're going to get requisition points, stuff like that. Great. We're going to get that. That's fine. Whatever. I don't feel, even if we get in these maps, we're going back to the same process before. The remixes. We're doing remix maps. We're doing Forge maps. We're not getting heavily creative maps from 343. We're getting something that has a cookie cut, so to speak, and just remixing things a little bit, shifting things a little bit and giving us a different map. That's
I just kind of I wanted to make that distinction because there is a difference between those two.
Yeah.
We have the game types that really should have been there, and to me, there should have been more positions open for getting multiplayer functionality there from the get-go than are to spend on making pizza skins for ARs.
No.
What I would want as a content is expansions, maybe a story mode, something like Firefight, more maps.
Tasman just put something in the chat that actually kind of puts the nail on the head. Monthly updates should be polish, not core game modes.
Yep.
It's just Halo. It's just adding to the shell. That's all it's doing. It's making the game more hollow. It's not doing anything good to give the soul or resurrect of what Halo should be, in my personal opinion, at all. It's with Halo 4, at least with Halo 4, and people are gonna knock it all day long. I don't care. Spartan Ops was something that I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, sure, it wasn't, there was some lag, there was some this, there was that, but it was weekly, or it was, it was a regular pace of things that came out every month. We got a little bit of story as to what's going on, but I had enjoyment with it while playing with friends. I don't enjoy playing Halo 5 with friends because they're either on teams that they already had pre-made so they can sit there and get that rank up, which shouldn't be the case at all. Or, yeah, sure, we can go to Warzone.
That's another thing too, social was missing.
Yeah.
And, whoa, hold up, time out. Social is still missing. All they did was visually remove the rank. I just want to put that out there. That is all they did. If you continue to play and you continue winning, your matches are going to get harder.
And that's
even in Halo 3, they still kind of matched it up a little bit skill-wise in the social playlists.
Well, yeah, I don't mind them matching in skill. It's just the range of skill that they pick, as far as that's concerned. Honestly, I haven't touched Big Team other than on Friday nights since it went social. I've been focusing whenever I play, in a ranked playlist. You guys have a point. If the game had shipped with what it should have shipped with, these monthly updates should be touching in on everything.
We wouldn't have as much of a problem with having the REQs and then the reimagined maps. We wouldn't be having as much of a problem. And that is kind of an important distinction to make because, we are kind of approaching this at an awkward angle because it's something that should have been there, but because it's not there, that's what's causing us all these issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Their focus now just does not seem to be in the right place, even though it does seem like they are listening to the community in some regards. It's just that from a business standpoint, they don't have their mindset in the right places.
No. Well, and that's something that goes back to what you said. This is what 343's Halo. This is what 343 wants Halo to be. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to be sticking around that long. If that's the case, because and I'm sorry. I'm like I've the Debbie Downer, whatever you want to call it. I'm tired of getting no reaction out of things anymore. Like I'm tired of defending 343, thinking, all right, well, there's a chance that this could be happening next month or anything like that. We don't get anything. You know what I mean? Like 343 had a problem where they were trying to do casual and competitive with Halo 4. That didn't end well. Now they're really hammering down the nail for competitive play, and that's hurting the casual and community other side of Halo. So like they're not only one side seems to be benefiting off of anything.
Well, and the thing is, from the aspect of gameplay in Halo 5, they did a really good job with it in Halo 5.
Yeah,
the social experience is completely lacking and almost completely absent. That's the problem, is just that social experience is next to nothing because of lack of game modes, because of the fact that Spartan Company integration only goes as far as you get your name placed under your Spartan Company name placed under your name whenever you view a profile. And now we have a couple of Spartan Company REQ things. But that's it. There's no clan matches in there. There's no... the stats API is still kind of minimalistic for some of the stuff that you can pull with the stats API. It's just that you can't take screenshots in game. You can't share save films. You can't do campaign theater. Just that social aspect that has been in Bungie's Halos is completely missing from 343's Halo.
Yep.
It's weird. It's like 343 has gone one way with their game, and then Bungie has gone completely social. Like Destiny has no true competitive game mode multiplayer,
and that's something that aggravates me too. Is people like, how do you play this game? Why do you play this game? It's a grind. And Dust, I know how you feel about the game. I know what your thoughts are, but honestly, I have more fun playing Destiny because I'm having that social experience that isn't in Halo right now. And it's the truth. When you do a raid, you're talking about things that you've done with, you have really intense conversations while doing something you enjoy. Yeah, sure, there's other things in there that I don't necessarily agree with, but the experience I'm getting from Destiny is it's that social experience that I'm wanting from Halo that just isn't there. And that's just something that a lot of people just don't understand. They're like, why do you constantly play, Destiny compared to, hey, you're a Halo person. You've always been there. Why is it that Destiny comes out? It's because it's been lacking. MCC, when that came out, I tossed, and you can back me up on this. I used to play, even though it was broken, I was always playing with you just about every night. I was up until like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, my time, playing with you, Twist, and everyone else. How many matches have we played with each other?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, there we go.
Again, that just goes to show that social aspect doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Or it does very little. And there's people out there trying to make it better. There's new communities that are up there. There's Halo Force, which is supposed to be tracking stats for local regions. There's Halo Lobbies, which is supposed to be kind of helping put lobbies together. I mean, there are people out there that want Halo to do well, but we have to have the tools within Halo for it to survive. And right now, we just don't have everything that we need for that.
Mm-hmm. No, they need to work on it. And the only way they're going to fix the social aspect is to actually put some stuff in the game that needs to be there. Like game types, like some type of file browser, not add this guy as a friend and then you can download his maps. There needs to be a file browser so people can quickly and easily share their community content, because that promotes the community getting together to play this content, to look at this content. The fact that there's no theater in campaign, I mean, does it kill everybody? No. But it was something that was a lot of fun. And I'm sorry, Xbox Record that just doesn't work for me. Because with that, you get one view. With the theater camera, you could get that shot from whatever angle you wanted. And that's what made it so great. I mean, before, we had capture cards or VCRs that we could capture the stuff with.
Well, people still have capture cards.
Well, I meant before we had theater. Like in Halo 2. Or camcorders, whatever people were using at the time.
Gosh, camcorders.
Yeah.
The daisy chaining.
What I'm trying to say is the theater, it's an important part of Halo. Is it an absolute necessary thing? Probably not, especially for campaign. But it's something that people could get around and share with people and get to know people and have some fun.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the best clips I've ever seen out of Halo games have come out of campaign. Seeing elites lawn darted into walls or just randomly flying out into the middle of nowhere. Stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, the multiplayer stuff's great as well, but
overall, the soul in Halo's not there.
The fact that you can't share any of your films.
Parts of it. I mean,
it's
compared to Halo 4 and Halo 2 Anniversary, the core gameplay mechanics of Halo 5 are spot on.
Right, but that's...
We got that part of Halo's soul back, which was good.
Mm-hmm.
But the community soul, the social aspect of Halo, it's just not there.
No.
And that's sad, because it's... A lot of people aren't playing Halo because of it. A lot of people are starting to drop the game now. And it's something that should have been there at launch. It's something that we shouldn't have had to wait this long for? Especially, I mean, just throw Oddball and King of the Hill, game modes that have been in Halo since day one, and it would be a whole lot better just with those two game types. Because the only additional game type that we had in Halo 1, other than those, was race, and everyone loved Halo 1. And if that's the only game type we don't have, I think that would actually be okay.
Yep.
Well, Duquesne would be freaking out, but...
Well, yeah.
I mean, actually, race wasn't to be pretty big, starting in Halo 3 with that modified VIP variant, and then it really took off in Halo Reach and Halo 4.
Yeah?
That
Halo
became
Reach. It got
very...
added into Halo 4 later.
That got, that really grew a lot bigger than I thought it would. There's a lot of people out there that enjoy race. I'm one of them. It's kind of fun just to not be focused on killing someone and just racing around a track. Because I've always liked driving games. And, it's kind of fun to be able to pick up one game and kind of have a variety. Right now, Halo doesn't have a variety. And honestly, unless some things change really quickly, I don't think I'd even consider Halo 6 as a AAA title.
Yeah.
Or whatever they decide to call it. I mean, I probably will still buy it because I want the story.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother rant, but it's...
we're getting there. We just gotta get to the campaign part first.
The Halo is really disappointing me, and I've been a Halo fanboy for a long time. Even with its downers, I still have enjoyed Halo. I enjoy Halo 5. It's fun to play. But due to lack of choice, it's getting kind of boring.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't really own any other games than Halo. I mean, right now I'm looking really forward to Halo Wars. Provided they don't screw it up too.
Microtransactions.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be there.
Right now, the only reason I play Halo 5 is to get my dailies, and then if for some reason I'm on and I get an invite from somebody, then I'll play.
Yep, I usually...
And it's mostly with all you all folks.
If I do anything, it's my dailies, and then I'm either bored or my friends are on something else, so I'm like, guess I'm going to go play something else.
Yep. I mean, sometimes I'm there for our community game nights. Most of the time I'm not. And it's just one of those things that 343 needs to just get this stuff out there and fixed. And, I mean, Kenny brought up a good point in the chat where they probably had it planned to be a release day thing. But, that's just bad program management right there. If it was something that they had planned to get out at launch and they didn't. And it's still taking this long to get out. It's like, at that point, you start to question, should the game have even come out or should it have been delayed? And, I was of the opinion originally that, no, get it out, let me play what's there. But now we're seeing the actual result of that where people are expecting one thing on the release where I'm starting to think maybe the delay would have been more beneficial for the game and it would have kept more people at launch instead of seeing this dwindling effect and this roller coaster of people coming in and out based on what's coming up in the next content update.
There's a question that was rolled up before Halo 5 was even released, a good 7-8 months beforehand. There was a question is 3 years of dev time enough time? It's not. It's not. And
well, it should be at least 3 years.
Well, right, but I put it like this: if those 3 years have been something that we've, every game that's been put out so far, like within 3 years' time, and this is what we're getting. There's something there's something more going on than what we're seeing, or something.
Well,
no, hold on on
they
that
did
one.
go through a complete architecture redesign for Halo 5, which I think for the long run was good because they wouldn't be able to quickly add in a lot of this cool new stuff that we're getting. So that re-architecture of Halo 5 is a pretty drastic step for the Halo game. I will give them credit for that because that was a huge change that needed to take place, and they took that head on. So I will give props for that.
It's still not enough. It's
on the other side of that, Dust. is with this big architecture change, they should have focused on the stuff that needs to be in the game. Right. And then the new stuff should be the stuff that they release after the game.
More dev time.
You're right.
With the exception of Forge, granted, Forge was a major rewrite, but I still think it should have launched with the game, with all the game types, at least all the standard game types, and then they could release new game types later on, whether it be through matchmaking or updates.
So we do know Forge was planned to be there at launch. We do know that. The fact that it wasn't was because of whenever the cartographers were there were some suggestions that they made that they wanted to go and fix based on feedback. So that was part of it.
Like I said, that's why they should have had those cartographers there a lot sooner.
The cartographers?
Yeah, my tongue's over my teeth. I can't see what I'm saying, so leave me alone. Anyway, no, it just, when they want, I applaud them for getting that kind of input. That was probably one of the smartest things they've ever done, is bring in the people that actually use the tools and get suggestions from them. But they should have done that at least 6 months before the launch of the game. So if there were any changes they wanted to make, they had plenty of time to make the changes and validate them.
I think there's a lot of things going on with 343 where it's like, oh, we should have done this. Well, it's kind of late, but we're going to try to do it anyways.
Yeah,
they just don't have that forethought or that overall.
The time management is probably their biggest issue with Halo 5.
Tasman says you need to lay off the rum and cookies, GT. Or rum and cokes. Sorry. Just had to throw that in there real quick.
Jack and Coke, by the way. Anyway, their time management seems to be on Halo 5 off. I think 3 years, even with a complete rewrite, is plenty of time.
Well,
apparently not.
No,
their size.
Okay.
It should.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't like it's 10 people writing the game.
No, but the hardware and the tools and the assets going into the game are getting more complex exponentially. So, in a way, depending on how many people they have, that should kind of maintain with each other. So, like, the more staff that they have, they should be able to deal with that complexity a lot better. So, really, that 3 years should be enough. But
okay, other side of the coin. Then, how long did Bungie spend on Destiny?
Since ODST, and they delayed Destiny too.
Exactly.
Well,
which granted, I will give them credit. Halfway through their development, they had to start developing for a new platform. But look at the game they delivered. I mean, honestly, the game they delivered, great gameplay, absolutely stupid story.
There's no story at all.
And stupid multiplayer. The Destiny's multiplayer is the most broke multiplayer I have ever played.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But,
and this is from the team that created Halo.
Right. But there's other things at play there too.
We're not even going to get into the whole Sony debate and Activision debate. They had more time to develop that game than they've spent on any other game that they have produced, even under Mother Microsoft.
Well, and there's some dynamics that we know of how certain things happened with Destiny.
True.
How things have changed.
Still,
but
to produce, even if you leave out the story side of it, to put out a multiplayer that's that freaking broken after spending that many years on it. So I don't think development time is the big key factor. Could they use more time on development? Sure. Anybody can use more time to develop something. It's resource management and managing the clock. You know how much time you've got to get this done, and I'm not saying that problems don't show up. That's why they call them delays. But I think there was a lot of indecision on what they wanted to do, and that ate up time. Just some of the conversations that I've heard them have with people It really does sound like during development there was a lot of indecision. Things that were mulled over probably too much. I can't say that for sure because I wasn't there. Because I would love to have been there because I'd love to watch them work. But anyway, it's just, could they use more time? Yes. Do they absolutely have to have more time? I don't think so. I think they just need to get better at managing what they have.
Well, and it's not even that, because
I've seen
what
this.
They don't have some stuff that we need.
Mm-hmm.
It's managing what needs to be in the game for the community to thrive and survive. I mean, it's one thing for, and
that's what I kind of mean by the decision part.
Well, and it kind of sucks right now because and we saw this with Halo 4, and we're kind of seeing with Halo 5. It's like all they care about is money. It's like Microsoft is definitely the one pulling the strings. It's like, yeah, all we care is about money. We don't care if there's a long-lasting community. Who cares?
Yeah, and I'm kind of starting to get a little fed up with Microsoft too. It's related to stuff that's not related to Halo, but anyway, I understand what you're saying. And, the point of making the game is to make money. That's the whole reason they exist, is to make money. That's the only reason any business exists, is to make money.
Well, but
the trick
Bungie,
the trick
no.
The trick is to make the money, but be involved in the people that you're getting the money from, so that they feel like they are cared about, that you actually want to do this for them. It's basic customer care. You go into McDonald's or you go into some restaurant and your waitress is worthless, doesn't keep your drink filled, brings you cold food. That's not customer service. The customer service is what keeps the money coming. And a lot of corporations have that problem. That's why I quit working for corporations. I understand that they're there to make money. I don't have a problem with that. But when they start making decisions that affect the customer service and then start complaining to the guy that is trying to deal with the customers that they're not making money because they've taken the tools away from him to take care of the customer, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The reason people go into business is to make money so they can provide for their families, so they don't have to work the rest of their lives. And it works out for some people, like Trump. But anyway,
let's not go the political route, please.
Oh, God.
Let's stay away from that.
I'm strictly speaking financial. We don't do the other stuff. Okay, Bill Gates.
Okay, so that's better. That's a little bit better.
I don't fault companies for wanting to make money because that's how we get our product.
So making money is fine, but Halo has had a legacy of community involvement and support. And if you look at the Bungie days, back when Joe Staten and Jason Jones were kind of like founding Bungie, I mean, they weren't necessarily in it to make money. Yeah, money was, an objective, but you hear it through the dialogues all the time. They wanted to make a game that they had fun playing.
Yeah.
And 343's mantra and Microsoft's mantra isn't that. And I think that's one of the key fundamentals that's missing from
the key with Bungie is, yes, they wanted to make the game that people would love.
So they wanted to make a game that they would love.
Well, they are people.
But it wasn't necessarily focusing on
the part that they took, the part that they focused on, which is the part they need to focus on, is taking care of the people that bought the game. They took care of the community, their customer. And as a result, they made a lot of money. But Microsoft is putting the money in front of their customer. They want the money, but they still want to keep the customer. But they don't want to take care of the customer to get the money.
Well, they just care about getting the money quick, and then if they leave, then
exactly
fine, they already have the money.
Yeah. And that's the difference between a corporation, which I know Bungie is a corporation now, but when they started, they were a group of people that all shared the same goal. They wanted to make a game they wanted to play, And in turn, they built a game that we wanted to play. But how they kept us wanting to play that game is they interacted with us. They had good customer service. And I'm sorry I keep harping on that but that's the point. You take care of the community. Your community is your customers.
Well, and another thing too with the REQs is that you would be, I mean, if there's a lot more community involvement and honestly, community outreach to where they were just like maybe giving away REQ codes, I think more people would actually end up buying REQ packs. But if people knew that this was the Halo that was going to be here 3 months afterwards, I don't think as many people would have actually bought REQ packs.
Probably not.
Going back to the point of paying with your wallet.
Well, and that's why I'm refusing to pay any more for REQ packs. I mean, I'll continue to play and grind out multiplayer games. One, because I actually do enjoy the Halo 5 multiplayer. Granted, I do wish there were the game types, but I actually do enjoy playing Halo 5.
Yeah, same here.
But I'm just going to be playing to unlock the stuff just for completion's sake.
It's grinding.
It is.
You're playing for the grind. That's all you're doing at that point. Yeah.
It's Destiny, and I don't like that.
You know, I don't really mind the grind because, you know, I don't really mind the grind. You know, even as much as I complained about not getting a particular weapon in Destiny, I didn't really mind the grind because I was having fun playing the game. You know, I was having fun doing the challenges and, you know, doing all the stuff you did. Goofing around in the raids, you know, trying to solo the raid or something like that. You know, it was fun to try. The problem with Halo, and again, I don't mind the grind for the REQ packs, is the fact there's so little to do. Yes. I mean, I can only Warzone, if I can play 3 games of Warzone in a row without getting absolutely pissed off, I'm doing good. I enjoy playing SWAT. I have a lot of fun at SWAT, even when I'm getting my ass handed to me. The resetting of the ranks is kind of pointless to me because I don't play for rank. I play for fun. But the only place I can do that, you know, the only place I can play is in the rank playlist because I don't want to play big team all the time. Because, and that goes back to there's just nothing there for social. But anyway, the thing I want them to do is I want them on their week or their monthly updates. I don't want them to just focus on Warzone. Focus on the whole game. I don't care if you give me a pink warthog for Forge. Focus on the whole game and get the game types out as soon as you can, because the longer those game types are gone, the smaller the community is going to get.
Yep. Anyways, that's going to, I think, wrap up the rant tonight. I think we've talked enough about it. We are going on 2.5 hours. So I think it's about time we go ahead and wrap this up. But if you have been listening for this long, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys coming in and listening to us. We are going to be back again next week. We will be covering yet another campaign mission and doing more stuff with well, I guess the January update will be out, so we'll be talking about that quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's primarily what we'll be talking about is the January update. So but yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a long podcast. We're going to quickly wrap it up. Make sure you check out the podcast network and check out all the other shows like Kutzcast, the Work in Progress, How to Murder Time, Guardian Radio, and The Learning Cliff. Make sure you go check them all out. All great podcasts. Make sure you check us out on our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And then we also have a few community events. We have our Spark Company events, which are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We do Tactical Tuesdays, which is arena focused, and Warzone Wednesdays, which is obviously Warzone focused. And then we also have Fraggin' Fridays, which is hosted by Godzilla T himself. And make sure you check those out. If you're part of the Spartan Company, those are good for Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then Fridays is open to anybody. And then we normally record our shows live on Thursdays at 9 p.m. Our game nights usually start at 8:30, and those are all Eastern times. So make sure you check those out. It's been great to have you guys back on. GT and Haas, welcome back. And we will see you guys next week. Keep on fragging Rex.
Laters.